We ready?
Oh, I need to open Astral because for some reason I seem to for the past 2 months I forget that that's a thing in this game for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's okay.
I love maps.
I don't. I tolerate the fact that I have to make them.
But you make
I don't need them.
Yeah, your maps are pretty.
I use my imagination.
It does help during, admittedly, it does help for keeping a little bit of attention, but in the meantime, excuse me. Oh, wow.
That was
second glass of wine. I did not expect pepper.
I love it.
All right.
Such a delightful vineyard.
Well, I mean, since we're doing dinner party night, I figured I'd have a couple glasses of wine and
why not?
I don't know, kill some or all of you. It'll be great. We'll find out who's playing Mr. Body.
Oh dear.
Spoiler, it's Tribby.
Oh.
All right. If everyone's here and ready, Sam, if you want to count us in, if you're ready, Brit, you ready?
Yep.
All right, Sam, you ready to count us in?
Yep. All right. 3, 2, 1. Fidelio.
Hello. Let's get started. So, for tonight's one quick thing. What is your character's favorite dream? Like, everyone growing up has had a dream that they're like, that was the coolest dream. What comes to mind as the first and only one dream that your character would reference? Let's start with Gary. What's your favorite dream?
One time my hand turned into pastries, and it was the greatest dream I ever had.
Okay. Channeling some inner lolly there. Lestrin, what is your favorite dream that your character has ever had?
He's sitting at a bar drinking beer, and his mug never emptied.
All right. Lolly, what is your favorite dream you've ever had?
Playing The Floor is Lava with Molly.
Very cool. Latham, what is your character's favorite dream you've ever had? PG-13, please.
Fair point. But no, we'll go a little more old school. At least when I was younger, walking around the village that he was picked on, but when growing up, he could just walk up to anyone and he'd just say a thing, and they would just do it exactly as he said. And being a kid, he would tell them to fetch some tasty food or just leave the house, and just everyone always listened to exactly what he said. He just wandered around the village.
A preview of the suggestion spell. All right, I like it. And Jyotis, what's your character's one favorite dream?
When he dreamt about how to build his masterpiece boat and built it, and it worked.
Ooh, cool. All right. On the first try, and it's not even suspicious because you're asleep. I like it. All right. Would anyone like to summarize what happened last week?
I don't know.
We didn't.
Would we, Latham?
We didn't level up.
Latham, it appears you've been volunteered as tribute.
What happened?
We may have a new contract if we want.
Wait, you got to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So we landed in Trinisbad, right?
Landed in Trinisbad, got situated, paid money at the quote free docks. Skipped around the graveyard because apparently the graveyard is not the greatest of places. Got set up a delightful little tree house. Met Tiny, who very deep voice that Tiny. Enjoyed a little bit of food. I think there was some shopping that was going on. I was trying to listen to the rebroadcast because I didn't quite pick up on what everyone got. Learned about an egg that Mr. Grimsby was looking for. Decided that we'd go find out what unscrupulous things Grimsby might be a part of, and maybe we'd go see if we can, turn him in for something. Latham got a little greedy with contracts. I think that's. I feel like there's a few other things I'm missing in there.
I mean, that's a good summary, though. That's genuinely a pretty good bullet point. Here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Lester and Lolly went to a gem park, and Lolly managed to dig up some actual valuable stuff at it.
Oh, that's right.
Because she's awesome.
Yeah, after complaining about Bob's random tables.
I'll never complain again.
So, and yeah, I think that's basically all that we missed.
We met a kitty cat friend of some kind, if I recall. Or cat-ish.
Oh, that's right. You guys were exploring like the mansion and saw something like hinting at a large cat.
Who's it that went into the back door of the mansion? That was
Captain
our friend.
Pancakes?
Pancakes.
Yeah, Captain Pancake's got a rather ammonia-scented smell in the upper wings of the manor. Well, Lestrin and Latham take a point of inspiration, because Lestrin, you really got it going. Latham, you did torch carry, though, and you did very excellent. Do remember that now inspiration expires at the end of game, so use it or lose it, kids. I need to come to the map that you guys are actually on. So let's pick up. We did, Jyotis and I went over a couple of things. Jyotis, would you be hanging out with Echo at this time? Or would you be taking her shift on the ship so that she gets to go into town for a little while?
Well, I was going to be hanging out with her because I assume that we need to be informed of the party, and we'll decide who gets to stay on the boat from there.
Reasonable.
Yeah, Gary volunteer?
He did volunteer.
Gary did volunteer. He did volunteer as tribute at one point.
So did I. First.
Yeah. But we kind of left off with Latham and Gary just exiting the mansion. Still with Creme and Halthus with you both. And Halthus does thank the both of you in an hushed undertone as you go to leave. He gives a very gracious nod and just, thank you so much. I don't think we ever could have repaid what he would probably have charged. And if you can't pay Grimsby, bad things happen. Not a man I like to be in debt to.
It does not seem to be that sort of man. We may also be looking for some aid, though our tribute system is far less aggressive. Should be running any problems. At any rate, I think we gotta get a few things set up first, but we may yet call upon your help. Nothing too serious, just some handwork.
Garret told us about fairness in Alarisamal, and well, if you need us, we're staying in the Stonespit Swamp. We normally stay at the Grinwood Inn when we're here. Our friend
why one versus the other?
With us.
Yeah, I thought they were.
Oh, we stayed the night with you. We didn't know you were going to continue. Well, we will gladly stay at the Rebel Blossom again.
You should come back with us at least to speak with the rest of the companions, and we'll go from there. I'm glad that you are in one piece still, and there may be more need of your aid. So let's go speak with the rest of the team.
All right. So, rest of the team, starting with Gary, who was there at the mansion. Gary, where are you heading right now?
Back to the inn, I think.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move your character sheet, or your character, over to Rebel Blossom. Oh, why is dynamic lighting on? I need to turn that off. Sorry, guys.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's on for Gary, at
It's on
least.
mine. Yeah.
Turn that shit off.
Yay.
Yeah.
Now you can see the map.
I can see
Okay.
clearly now.
Can see clearly now the rain.
Latham, are you also heading back to the inn, or are you going elsewhere?
Back to the Bubble Blossom.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have no business elsewhere that I can think of.
You do have one, not necessarily assigned task, but one thing that was requested if you could look into, which you produced some psychic papers for already, but we'll leave that hanging for now. That's good hanging fruit. All right, I'm going to move you back to the Rebel Blossom, and then Jyotis.
So while they were doing the thing, I would have left a note at the Rebel Blossom that I was headed into town, and then I would end up at the boat with Echo.
Okay.
Should they return?
Gotcha. Well, you spend a pretty pleasant morning to mid-afternoon with Echo on the boat. She basically offers to play some dice with you just to kind of keep things entertained, and she flat out admits that since she doesn't know Trinisbad that well, she'll probably just stay at the Rebel Blossom also and just kind of go there on her free shifts because that sounds safe.
Mhm.
At about midday, there is a boat that pulls into port, and you do see the Dark Tide of Pier 36 make a point of kind of popping near your guys' docked boat and giving a point. And Echo gives a nod and just, he's telling us to watch.
Right.
And sure enough, this is a UNT ship. Even with your passive perception, and you can tell automatically, several individuals get off of it with each individual patterns and snake-like markings on them. Some have tattoos. Others look like they have manifested scales and forked tongues and recessed noses. All of them have those eyes. Some of them are orange and yellow, but all of them are these narrow slits, and they stare with just almost a creepy intensity. They do walk and observe the ships that they're walking by with that careful eye of a predator. Would you like to do anything?
Are they staring at our ship, or do I need to perceive?
They're looking at every ship. From your passive perception, every ship they're kind of giving this stare. And there's about 20 of them that have gotten off of their ship. It's a 3-mast ship. It is a good-sized ship.
That's a good boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell? Like, I'm assuming it's armed. Can I tell if it's ballista or cannons or something?
That I would require a perception check for.
I would like to perceive that. Well, that's 19 on the dice, so it's a lot. It's probably 25, I think.
Does not appear to be any armaments of gunpowder, but there do appear to be ballista and some sort of trebuchet that they have that they've kept relatively well hidden. You can also see what does look like several of the ropes are basically made to be easy hook harpoon attachments so that they can harpoon other ships and reel them in. You suspect that there's slave quarters below the ship based off of those things, because there's also portholes that could be used for either oars, or you could lead ropes through it and make them do all the work of pulling after a harpoon is thrown.
Gotcha.
They do not unload any trade goods as they are exiting the ship. They just roll into port.
Intriguing. We shall have to keep our eye on them.
Yeah, Echo has the same kind of reaction with a very mild tone. Says to you, just make sure that you don't look like prey to them.
Noted.
Not to sound presumptive, but UNT, especially if they're pirates, they'll look for the weak targets, the fat ones.
Would with my background, would I be able to tell if it's one of the hold on, looking through my note. Would I be able to tell if it's one of the fangs of LaSalle or LaSalle?
Looking at it, it does appear that this boat is built for piracy because, again, the armaments it has, along with the fact that it has all those harpoons, they probably take other ships.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, would I be able to tell if it's a marked ship or if it's like an underling? Like, is it one of the captains that I'm familiar with, or is it probably...
Ooh, roll a history check.
Yeah. Well, I rolled a 19 and then I rolled a 2, so that's all of 7 on a history check.
Difficult to tell. You haven't had many personal run-ins with the Fangs of LaSalle because you're alive. Amongst other things.
Must have been playing dice with Echo too much.
It's one of those things that, like, knowing this ship, you know that this is one of their better ships, but you can't tell if this is like something of like a big one, or is this just how well all of them are armed? Because the way that people talk about them in ports, this is very much that, like, oh, beware the Things of LaSalle, they're out to get you. And, upon seeing one of their vessels, it's like, yeah, a vessel like that.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with them. At least not now.
I mean, maybe later.
Yeah. If they mess with us, I mean.
So at about noontime, Echo just kind of looks at you and is just like, so, with them being here, I kind of just want to stay on the boat right now because they're all over the docks still.
Yeah.
And the way she points, she's like, I can take 1 or 2 in a fight, but any fight where you have to fight like 10 to 12 people is not a fight. It's a slaughter waiting to happen.
Well, I left a note with the inn that I'd tell Garret and the others when they returned that I was coming to the boat to hang out with you. So, unfortunately, both the sending stones we have are here on the boat because I have the other one.
She gives you this long look. I'm just like, after all the talking we did.
Yeah, I know. I should have left the stone, but I don't trust anybody else with the stone. I should have handed it off.
Not even Gary?
No.
Right about that time,
he gave you yours. He gave yours
to you.
What was that, Gary?
Right about this time, I'm going to send a message to Jyotis to let him know that we're back at the inn.
Hey, Gary, what's the range on the message spell?
Doop-a-doo.
I want to say it's 120.
120 feet.
Yeah, they're further than 120 feet from you, unfortunately. You send it out, but it fizzles.
Spoiled with the I was spoiled by the sending stone.
Well, and it's a new spell, so it's fun to try out and see how it works, and then you have that.
Doesn't go quite far. Doesn't go quite as far.
And you know that if Jyotis heard you, there'd be a response, because Jyotis is not an unresponsive type. He's not you.
Oh, what is that, Garret?
String.
I'm going to go ahead and leave the hotel, the tavern inn, and wander closer to the shore, because I remember that he has the sending stone, but I don't know.
Echo has the sending stone.
Echo, you gave yours to Echo.
Oh, yeah, there's...
Latham raises an eyebrow, like, where are you off to?
I received the note when we arrived that Jyotis went to see Echo, which means both sending stones are on the ship.
Okay. Do you want me to tell them to come here?
I'm off to do that now.
Okay.
Do the faster method.
I use sending, which doesn't have that range limit, and tell Echo that Garrett's on the way over.
Echo gets that sudden message and is just, oh, Latham's in my head. Hi. Just tell Gary to be careful because Yuan T have arrived. And that's about the word limit right there, because Latham is in my head was the first part of her response.
Yeah.
And she does say this out loud too, because she's not really used to sending, and so she
I
then kind
imagine
of
it was
looks at
mid-conversation.
Jyotis and just like, that's really weird, but kind of cool. Like, that's neat. Is that how these work?
Kind of. They're a little different, but very similar.
Neat. All right, Gary, while you're cutting across town, Lestrin and Lolly, you had a very successful mining morning.
Yeah.
Well, Lolly had a mining morning, but Lestrin was there to watch.
I supervised
Yeah.
because I was
Great
convinced
supervisor.
that the sluice was going to be a tourist trap.
Mhm. Oh, it is, but Lolly got lucky.
All right, let's go
Lolly.
back to Nosepick and let's see if we can like trade some of these onyx stones for diamonds.
That sounds great.
It's
And
such a
sure
great
enough,
morning we had.
Pickbeard is still running his bazaar with all of his. He's putting out some geodes currently and showing off some quartz. And as the two of you walk up, he goes, "Ah, well, how do you do?"
Oh, it was great. I love Boosh. He was such a nice guy.
Oh,
Here, I got
good.
a couple of these black rocks, and I just kind of like hand over all 11 of these onyx stones.
He
Do you
kind
think I
of
could trade one of these for a revivify stone?
looks at you, looks at Lestrin, and he's going to make an insight check. After looking for just a second at Lestrin, he looks like snaps back to you. Because like you can Lestrin, you can clearly feel that his eyes went towards your greatsword and went like, yeah, this is not worth pulling the sheets over this person's eyes. And again, this is Trinisbad. You can kill people, you just have to dig their grave. So,
Oh,
you
I
know,
don't care about digging a hole.
right. Do the math. So that was his insight realization was no. So he holds these 11 and is like, look, there is a markup on the price of diamonds right now. How much is the value of one required to cast the spell you're looking for? Because I know that there's a set amount, but I'm not familiar with the magic itself.
So I need one worth 300 gold points, but if you said that they're more expensive now, I guess that would mean a tinier diamond?
No,
Does it follow marketplace? I don't know how
No.
spells work.
no. The standard cost is a normal set value amongst both ritual casters and typically jewelers. So if you're looking for a diamond worth 100 gold as standard, then I'm going to tell you that with 11 of these rocks, that in normal circumstances, that could get you a few. Right now, it can get you a couple. And he basically says, because each of those are worth 50 gold, is that correct?
Yeah, so it was 11
And you got
onyx
11.
stones at 50 gold apiece.
So you have like 550 gold worth.
Yep.
He basically says, like, look, I can give you the money, but it's 150 gold per diamond of the 100 gold size right now. Because I'm sorry for the markup, but the Valerines are causing havoc with this entire diamond system right now.
Well,
So,
I mean, we had a lot of fun just talking to Boosh as it was. If I give you like 10 of these and I get to keep one, could I just get like one of your ugly occluded 300 gold point, like gold piece diamonds so that I could use it in my spell? Because I think it disappears and you don't have to have like the prettiest diamonds.
he gives you this long look, and it's not that I have them carved pretty, because that would actually directly interfere with the Valerine contract. It's that legitimately the markup is huge right now on diamond. But I'll tell you what, I can give you, and he looks at these 11 great chunks of onyx that you've brought him again.
This one's
looks back
shiny.
at Lestrin. I can give you... Let's say I'll give you 3 of these diamonds for your spell component you're looking for, and you can keep 3 of the onyx rocks.
Ooh, okay.
That sounds like a great exchange, Lolly.
Yeah. I definitely hand them over.
Okay. So yeah, he leaves you, and he's like, I'm sorry, that's all the diamonds that I really had of this value anyways, but this way you at least have something that you need. And
Right. No, we are still going to help you out with that, with the mines going crazy, and we're still going to check that out if we can.
oh, thank you. That
What-
would be
which-
valuable.
Which were the stones that you were looking for?
He was having
Well-
issues with the mines. The Valerians.
Yeah,
There's-
and we were going to go and mine for two specific types. I just don't remember what type they were.
It's on Summer Heart, so not here.
Yeah.
At the Thorn
Yeah, no.
Water. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, no. The mine here has its own issues. Mostly that there's spiders in
Oh.
the Thornwater estate up by the waterfall. There's a mine in the waterfall, and it has large spiders, and it's been a problem. But the Valerines have their own problems, and they've been marking up diamonds. So, completely separate issue, but
Is that they're using the diamonds to fuel the portal that we were trying to help with? I don't remember.
Pickbeard gives you this long look of just like, diamonds are really useful in magic casting, and I can't explain why. Might be the refraction once they're carved down, might be just how dense the material is, could be how it stores magical energies through the spell weave. I'm not a caster, so I can't tell you, but I know that Gilderstrand goes crazy for them, and most mages of repute also tend to like them.
Okay. Well, one more time. The mine over there behind the waterfall. What kind of stones?
Oh, mostly geodes, and he points. There's some onyx there. I've seen a couple of ruby veins before, but
Okay.
I've had to import emeralds and sapphires.
Well, if we go in there, then we'll keep an eye out for that stuff.
Thank you so much. He just gives you a little bow and just... I hope you have a great day.
You as well.
You too.
So, what would the two of you like to do? Because you see Gary walking by
Yeah.
at about that moment.
Well, I thought we were supposed to, like, meet them at the Grimsby Manor, or, like...
We were gonna meet up at, like, I think back at the tavern, so we could
Oh,
all
okay.
go meet the
Yeah.
prettiest hag.
we would
Yeah,
just walk
no,
by
and
Garret
that's-
as he walked
Right,
by.
like you two are like just starting back down, and that's when Gary comes walking by.
Les may have noticed Jyotis picking around the bazaar earlier on his way to the boat, but other than
No,
that,
because Lester and then Lolly were mining. I actually had
okay.
this
Yeah, we
time.
were in the sluice.
okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
they were.
We've
Lolly
just
was
been, like,
sluicing and Lestring was
revolving door each
supervising.
other.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of those like, hey, you.
Yeah. Hey, Lolly, there goes Gary. Let's follow him that way.
Whoa!
Good idea.
Wait, are you sure it's Gary? Oh, yeah, that's Gary.
I hope it's
Humans are
Gary.
boring. All humans look
Hey, are
alike.
you Gary?
Hey, is
Hey,
it Gary?
you, Gary.
You
And when you run up to
guys.
somebody from behind and you're like, oh my gosh, it's my friend. I'm going to grab them and hug them. And then it's somebody different. That's so awkward.
Yeah,
It
or when
is.
you're in the grocery store and you think you see your old neighbor and you yell their name
Yes.
and they just give you this look like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Are dwarven grocery stores just beer? Like,
And hops.
They have to
they
eat
buy
something.
meat.
Mead
beer?
hops.
like somewhere outside the city gates is some lonely vegetable salesman who's like
Beer crafting.
Customer
kicked out of the
service.
store.
Does anyone want
Maybe they might
asparagus?
mushrooms too. You know.
Yeah.
Fungus has to be a delightful addition to your steak.
Mhm.
Get some tasty asparagus.
So if the two of you are following Gary, you do reach Jyotis at the boat. The three of you would notice that there is a presence
Jyotis.
of about 20 yuan T on the docks. They're just kind of staring at other ships, looking over the area. All three of you are kind of stared at individually with
Try not to
intense
look like prey.
gazes.
Hi, everybody.
Not suspicious at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't look like
I don't know if you could
chumps.
tell that
Look at
by
these
the
shiny
everything
rocks
about
I
me.
got.
Yeah, no, Lolly.
Well, I mean, if you're showing Gary those shiny rocks, that's up to you, but
No. I will tell him better day. I was like, and then we went to the sluice and we met a goblin and he told us about Hackmooch.
Apparently, we're going to Hackmooch here.
Well, we gotta
Maybe
go to the
tomorrow.
prettiest hag first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Maybe we'll go to Hackmooch tomorrow.
Yeah.
so after that lovely short trip, you guys do manage to reach the Lucky 87. And there's at least one yuan T that's staring at it from about 25 feet away, reading the name of the boat. And you can make an insight check if you want.
Ooh,
Oh, I'm
definitely.
gonna.
Do I see this? I would assume.
You're on the boat, so I would assume that if you're looking around, you would see it because you see the three others approaching.
Okay.
18.
Got me at 17.
Insight. Remember, this is insight.
Insight.
Yeah, I rolled a
Yeah.
17.
17.
So I got an 18.
I just love how I peer over the boat and the three people on the docks, near our boat, are like,
Mhm.
"What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, no. Your friends are quickly rolling up, and again, Gary and you both kind of simultaneously realize that there's a yuan T staring at the ship, and then Lestrin looks over, and the two of you at that 17, you're kind of like, I don't know what that is. Are they checking us to be is that those fuckers that have fucked with the fangs of Lesashel before? You're running through the worst case scenarios. Lestrin, in a moment of absolute confidence, looks up, and Lestrin, you realize that that is the look of someone who goes, why would they name a boat that? I rolled really bad on their intelligence check. It was a 4, so they were just staring because I was like, "Oh man, yeah." Let's see, based on their reputation, let's roll. And it's like, nope, not today.
They have no bloody idea why we're the Lucky 87.
Right? They're just looking at it like, why would someone name a ship that? And because it's a yuan T, it's a very intense, focused stare from this, and all of you can now see that it's a slightly effeminate figure, well dressed. Jyotis, you can get the semblance that this might be either a not just a regular crew member, but either one of the shipboard command or possibly even the captain. Their what looks like hair is actually the side folds of what could very well be a cobra head that is colored brown to where it almost blends in like human hair unless you look closely at it. Their eyes are a soft green instead of that normal yellow or orange intensity. They still have the narrow slits to them, but they're just staring, pondering. And then after they kind of look and see three different people looking at them being insightful, they have that reaction and just shrug and just, why the name Lucky 87?
It's how many people we killed.
It's a good start.
I give Lolly a slow, long-suffering look
Oh, Lolly.
and turn back and just
And how many UNT are there?
There's
20.
about 20 on the docks. They're spread out. But, you know, when Lolly said that, Lolly rolled deception.
Oh.
Cool.
The
I'm surprised
obvious
Lolly's not like, well, we could make it Lucky 88 if you want more of it.
Well, that's a 2, so 6.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, she gives you that nod. Like, again, I don't think you intended it like a threat
No,
or something,
yeah.
but it's how many people we've killed, like something a kid would say. And that's exactly how fierce it comes off, because she looks at you and just, that's a good start. Gives a little
Thanks.
very, very fanged smile with pearly white teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a quick flick of her tongue and then walks away.
Oh, wait, I'm Lolly. What's your name? Hi, nice to meet you. Bye.
She does not pay attention to you beyond that.
I don't think she wants to be friends, Lolly.
Oh.
Yeah, let him go, Lolly. It's okay.
Come on to the boat, guys. Come on to the boat.
Yeah, even the Dark Tide, who, Gary, you recognize that he's been watching down by the water and just slowly aiming a crossbow. Lowers his crossbow and just gives you this sideway glance of his head and just... I didn't ask about the boat name either, but now I am curious.
Gary, you want this one?
I bought a raffle ticket.
He has this moment where he pauses and then gives this like chuckle that sounds like dry. It's that like
Dry chuckle.
and it turns into that cough where he splashes some water on each side of his face and just well, it's one hell of a way to get a boat.
They only sold 100 tickets, and my number was called, so I put it on the boat.
A fair name.
Seemed apt. Are we going to have problems with them?
They have not required protection so far. Out of the 3 lieutenants of the Fangs of the Pearlescent Viper, that one is the
Oh.
most reasonable.
Noted. I still think we should keep at least 2 people on the boat at all times, just to raise an alarm if necessary.
He
Wait,
gives just a
that's
little
the
bit of a
Pearlescent
whistle.
Viper?
No, that is her lieutenant.
One of our lieutenants.
And he pauses for a second and just, what is her name? What is her name? Sukuta.
Sukuta.
Can we have that in the chat?
Yes, you can.
Yes, please. Oh,
Yes.
She spelled it just like I wrote it. Cool.
Woo.
She's a
I try to
lieutenant.
keep it like it sounds.
Appreciate.
What's her rank?
She is a lieutenant of the Pearlescent Viper.
And she gets
Captain of a
raffled?
ship.
Oh.
What's your favorite candy?
Well, consider the Pearlescent Viper like a commodore, and her lieutenants and subordinates have their own boats.
Gives a nod. The UNT wouldn't trust each other with the title of captain, though. It would lead to competition. Lieutenant reminds them they are under someone.
Huh.
You said she's the least disagreeable?
Out
Yeah.
of the 3 I've dealt with.
Just making some notes. I found my old, just completely apropos of nothing. I found the notebook that I started before I moved.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
Like,
Yay.
Yay! It's all stuff from like months and months ago, but
Yeah, and
now
in a hushed voice, Varn leans in and tells you, If she was going to require protection money from the ships surrounding her, she would have come and spoken with the Dark Tides personally. I think she just had a moment of curiosity about your ship. It is, after all, odd. And he points over to the ballista.
Thanks.
It's this luxury liner with a gun.
Right.
It's a sailboat with a gun on it.
Right. And again,
everyone's got to have a little protection.
he
on
also
the
points to
waves.
the hull, too, and he's like, the hull and the sails are modified as well. These
Double
things
button.
are not common. I doubt she
We've
has
done
the eye of appreciation I do.
Well,
But,
they see the
We've
axe beak.
done
what was that,
did some
Mikey?
favors for the. We did some favors for the Summer Sun Corsairs, and they rewarded us for it. And then he gestures at the ballista and says, "And with as many merfolk and sharks that have attacked my fucking boat, I needed something."
He gives just a quick laugh and just, yes. Lots of sharks out on the sea.
It's my most favorite weapon.
Mhm.
He uses it very, very well.
The sea is a beautiful place, but wards those who are dead. Just gives you a nod and just myself, my spawn, continue protecting the ship for you.
I appreciate your help and your eyes.
Gives a nod. And then he lets out not a whistle because his mouth doesn't move, but there's definitely a sound that comes from beneath the hood. And you then see like 3 different people poke up from the water, each of them with a blowgun. All of them blue and green in very Triton-y colors, because you've seen a few Triton before. Gives another one of those whistling sounds. They all nod and then go back down below. Just
Nice to meet you.
the Dark Tide of Pier 36 is a respectable Dark Tide. My word is good.
I never doubted you for a moment. And
Gives a nod.
I
turn to
will-
Jyotis. We have. I kind of turn to everybody and it's like, I have news. We should discuss things.
You
Shall
want
we
to go
go
back to the
inside?
inn first?
Should we do it on the boat away from ears?
That was my intention of coming here. That
Okay.
and it appears that both sending stones are on the boat for some reason.
Yeah. I mean,
Those-
y'all went to the mansion and they went
I'm
off
just
rock
pointing
hunting.
out that it defeats the purpose.
They went off rock hunting before I could give it to them, so I just left a note that said I was here.
Oh,
Echo
I
just
lean down
gives
to
this
her.
shrug and is like, I mean, at least someone came to relieve me in the morning. Like it was said would happen, but I didn't really
Yeah,
feel
like-
comfortable leaving with
That.
That's why we are here. That's why we are here now having this conversation.
Oh, good.
I tried to get some business done early in the morning, and it turned into more business of an irritating quality.
Echo
And I
gives
fill
this.
them in a little bit about the
Yeah.
situation.
Jyotis just raises an eyebrow.
So now, the ones that we rescued owe nothing, but Latham saw nothing but gold coins in his eyes, and very well may have made a verbal contract for us to fulfill their previous contract. And
Oh, heck.
I have to go to a dinner party tonight.
Ooh.
I see. Well, you need somebody to be taking your spot on the boat then.
Believe me, I would rather spend the night on the boat than not go to this. occasion. But I and Latham, for certain, are going to go in. I, because I'm expected, and Latham, because, well, he talked us into this mess, and hopefully he can talk us out of it.
Well, it's at least an opportunity to fleece this guy for money, right? We could fleece him, right?
No, that's the problem. I don't want to even risk that, because everybody who's even tried seems to have very, very, very bad luck at continuing to breathe.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll go.
Owes them in complete debt forever and ever and ever, and makes them work for free, which is not something that we do in this corporation.
Echo gives a very small nod and just with a small voice. You don't wind up running a town like Grimsby does and not be able to carry out threats on people who wrong you or fleece you.
Especially one of this nature.
It's a huge contract. It's a lot of money, but it's also incredibly dangerous and has a time limit. So if we are going to accept this, I believe he's giving us 2 10 days?
2 10 days?
No, he said
I thought
2
it was
months.
2 months.
Yeah, he did specify 2 months.
Oh, that's
It was
80 days?
It was. I remember that it was 2, but I wrote it in my other note. So he wants it done in 2 months, and while it is a very big payday and could do a lot for our guild, it would also be very dangerous, and if anything goes wrong, if the mission goes sideways in any way, if we continue to live, we will no longer have a boat.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Because he will make us pay back every single copper he sends our way.
I see. Well, our boat's worth more than that, right? Question mark.
No
Well,
idea.
it also sounds like we don't really have much of a choice.
I mean,
Hopefully we still do have at least some choice in the matter, but unfortunately, attending the dinner party is not a choice. He made it very clear that it was a choice, but he also made it very clear that it was not a choice, if you understand.
Well,
I'll definitely be attending because
I was going to offer to stay on the boat, but do you want me with you there?
No, I think it would be best if you and Lolly stayed with Echo on the boat.
Okay.
But there's a
Echo gives this pause where she's like, "Are you sure? The more people you can walk into with that kind of guy, the better." And she looks and kind of, look, I mean, not that I want to spend more time on the boat than I have to, but I can stay on the boat and I'll just beg Latham for more money again.
My biggest concern is, he kind of vaguely gestures toward where Lolly and Jyotis are standing. Is like, my biggest concern is talkative.
Oh, like she has that memory of the dragon turtle, and I see it.
So that's my primary concern, is that some loose lips sink ships, and in this case, it's very literal.
Well,
if I promise not to talk, can I please
Do you
go
want-
to the party?
Oh boy.
I could just picture him doing like these big puppy dog eyes, like.
Oh, Lolly,
I
what?
need time. Lestrin and I need some time to come up with a plan.
Yeah, and Lolly, though it would probably be fun for you, we want to protect you, and we don't want an off chance word to make things worse than they already are, if you know what I mean.
We
You
can
just
make
said
it
it'd be
very
a lot
clear
of
that
fun for me. What?
We know. And we'll do something to make it up for you.
I'm trying to think of a way to put it. I'm trying to think of an analogy. And after, I will consider. I really will, because Echo makes some good points about going in understaffed, but also my concerns, I believe, are valid, because between the two of you, you have accidentally spoken us into some bad situations.
I won't talk, I promise. Unless I need to, like, you know, cast healing spells
The
that
issue-
I know. Because I'm a healer and could
Winky
save
wink.
If
life.
everything, give Lestrin and myself some time to
Okay.
plan, to go over some tactics. I promise you, if you are coming, it will be to be you. Nobody else.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
if we're going to make a
definitely.
plan with you as part of it, we're leaning into who you are by nature.
Mm-hmm.
I
And that
agree.
vague.
I mean, if they have a dessert table,
for
I'll just
Jyotis
be
as
there.
Which is exactly what we're
Like
going to
Jyotis
be
just
doing.
agrees, like 100%. Like, yeah, I mean,
That goes for Jyotis as well. We're going to lean very heavily into who he is.
I don't do anything out of the ordinary, right?
As far as protecting the ship goes, we could just take it offshore.
That's true. We could take
Honestly,
it.
I
I think it's better on this
believe-
dock with Varn's
exactly.
help, though.
And
Varn
Chuck.
seems to have, and
What's the
Chuggers,
name?
and Echo.
What's
Truth. And
I just
apparently
heard-
your
what's the
plant,
title? What's Varn's title?
Dark
The
Tide.
Dark Tide.
Dark Tide.
Dark
Dark
Tide.
Yeah, I wrote it down too. It's just no. The Dark Tide have the bolt will in hand. I think it's mostly for personal protection or to avoid drawing too many eyes. But Lolly always draws eyes, and so does Jyotis.
I mean,
True.
Option 2. Chuggers and I could have a slumber party, and you have to get me a ton of candy.
I like this option.
I do like this option as well, but once again, give myself and Lestrin some time to go over some plans.
Okay.
There's a good chance that the two of us can come up with something that covers all of our bases correctly. We do need some more information from Grimsby Manor regardless.
Truth.
well, after we're done with this party, I'd like to suggest that maybe with the any gestures towards the Fang boat, the three-masted Fang boat, with that in town, after we're through with this party tonight, perhaps we should up the watch on the boat to at least 2. Thoughts?
Probably a good plan. It would might well save us some coin too, but that is the least of our worries at this point.
Yeah. What happened with the UNT, or not the UNT, the Yenfir Seekers?
Oh,
The 2 that
got
we
them.
saved.
They no longer need. They have no debt.
Oh, good.
Latham was kind enough to move it on to us.
I see.
It's all coming together.
So are they staying with us?
I was able
or-
to. I was able to convince him that punishing people who have no power is no way to show off your power.
This is precisely why you should be. I know you hate it.
People like him that made me leave home. But yes, we do need access to that house again. We were not able to get all of the information that we needed. And I'm going to make sure that the good captain here comes with.
Captain Pancakes gives them meow.
Jyotis leans down and pets the key. And he
likes
looks
you
for his
like
plant.
fish. The good captain likes Jyotis because he smells of fish.
Of course.
Yeah, he occasionally like takes a nip, like
I was
just
just
to,
saying,
like,
does he like lick
hey.
my hand or bite it?
Yeah, no, it'll start off with licks, and then it's like, oh.
Oh, you taste good. No.
Just
Yeah.
like my cat.
That
Mhm.
literally
My cat
does look
actually
like your
does
cat
that.
does. Yeah.
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 Yep, exactly. That's what Captain Pancakes does.
Jyotis tosses
Meow.
Mr. Snappy a hunk of jerky.
Yeah, Mr. Snappy, after being gone for a little while, comes up on deck, and well, it's digesting something that looks quite like a rat tail in one of the closed
Oh.
mouths.
Good boy. Good boy.
I'm gonna nudge Lolly and say, "It looks like it wants candy."
I know, but I gave all my candy to Tiny.
Shoot.
Jyotis is gonna stare at Lester. Look, it verminated. It's our friend.
Oh, and it looks like it wants candy.
It's full for now. Points to the tail.
Another one of the other mouths opens when he says it's full
Of
for
course.
now.
Of course.
I give you the eyebrow.
Feed it some candy. Just please don't make it sick.
I don't have any. I need some more. We should have gone candy
No.
shopping. All we got were these stupid jewels.
We'll get more at the bazaar, okay?
Okay.
I need to head back
What's
to the
up,
bazaar in a day or two. Party first, all right? Strategize.
Was there a dress code mentioned for this shindig, Gary?
I don't actually recall. I was
Okay.
too furious.
Then I'm going to dress exactly the way I am.
He's rage blind.
Slightly salty.
Perfect.
Can I roll for how bad I smell?
Yeah. Roll a percentile dice.
Yes.
Here we go. I got a 22.
Okay. You're not causing everyone to make constitution saves, but when they get close, a beard is pungent. So
Perfect.
Beer.
Stale beer. Stale beer.
beer and salt. That's the smell because of the
Yummy.
trip. So, like there's the sweat from the pits and everything else is definitely there, but the main odeur de Lesterin comes from the beard. And yeah.
I'm gonna pull my beard up and like tilt my head back. Go, Gary, is it pungent enough for the party?
I'm certain it is.
Good.
Garret, what do you think of spreading the word that there's a shindig, or do you think that's a bad idea?
You broke up really bad, Gary.
I just said to whom.
Oh, and he kind of eyes the Yuan T-boat over there.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Some lively characters.
I'm sure
Maybe if they're
something.
there, we
Maybe
can
they're
never
here
reach out
for the
to them.
party too. Who knows?
Perhaps the lieutenant there might find that some information to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Party at the manor.
Just a thought. But like I said, they rolled into town today. Maybe they're here for
And
that.
with that, I'm actually going to kind of lean over the water.
Mhm.
Just lean over the edge of the boat and tap 3 times in one of the signals that I learned from the thieves' cant.
Mhm.
to get the attention of the dark
Dark Tide.
of Varn.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, well,
brain cannot hold that word. I do not know why.
It's all right.
After a moment, he pops up out of the water near you. And just, how can I help?
Do you think Lieutenant Sukuta would find it interesting to know that Lord Grimsby is holding a shindig at his home this evening?
He gives a smile and just, is that payment for this information, or is this conjecture?
It's conjecture, but payment can be arranged.
Gives a
On her
nod.
behalf.
I would assume payment on such information to be worth at least 5 gold, but my conjecture would be that Grimsby throws parties every night. But amongst the dark tides, we do know something of this upcoming party. He kind of holds out a hand like,
Of course.
Violations.
Count out 5. And gently, you just carefully slip it into his hand.
2 things. And he, again, that gold just gone the second it touches his hand. You have no idea where it's gone because the hand's still there. The gold's just not. 2 things. For one, Grimsby throws a lively party. That means entertainment and violence. Nate. 2. This party is going to host most of all the leaders across the town because he's attempting to convince them to unite against Westward.
Oh, hell.
Admiral Shaw put the Vault of the Kai in his prison, and it's caused a little bit of an upset. My suspicion is that the Yuan-Ti are here as additional support to be sent after good Admiral, should there not be negotiations to release the prisoner.
That is useful information indeed.
Again.
Hey.
Dark Tide Cinerak. There. And he gives that, like, make no move against him. Cinerak owns these docks. I cannot protect you if you move against him. Understand?
Yes.
Good. Grimsby likes violence, indulges in it, and loves it. Also, if your dwarf is looking to be smellier, the Iroli Spire has sulfur springs that the sailors love to bathe in.
Excellent.
Gives a slow nod. Yeah. Anything else, sir?
No, thank you. You've answered several of my questions.
I do try to make my information worth the values I charge. That way you don't feel cheap. And he gives a slow nod and then returns to the water.
So how can we use these?
Well,
Seems,
as soon as we get done here, I'm gonna go take a bath.
Of course. But I mean,
I can't wait to see the eye rolls.
the other part of that information. Because we
We don't have Westport. Is Admiral Shaw from Westport?
Admiral Shaw is the leader of Westward.
Westport. Okay, cool.
Westward.
And the UNT were potentially with the Admiral to move
No,
against...
the Yuan Ti. So the Admiral is a Summer Sun Corsair. The Yuan Ti are definitely against the Summer Sun Corsairs traditionally. This is the free docks, though. Anyone can dock on this side of the island. But Shaw runs the western side of the island, which is a Summer Sun Corsair controlled dock. It's more expensive to dock there, but you're better protected, and they don't let just anyone, say, Fangs of Lasashal pirates, roll on up and dock.
Especially at a lieutenant of the Pearlescent Viper.
Right. Someone who is considered one of the primary enemies of Ayamasunge's shipping lines, and specifically the Summer Sun Corsairs, would normally not be allowed to dock. But again, Trinispad has this weird pact where anyone can dock here so long as you agree to defend the city under threat.
Tortuga. And Jyotis can tell Latham his little tidbit of what he knows of the Pearlescent Viper from his days with the Dejani, basically, that she's, he's going to relay that she's a Commodore. And
well, Latham's still technically back at the tavern.
Oh,
Yeah,
enjoying
we'll
his
talk about
day.
this later on.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I'll tell him later.
That was more my understanding, as a player, of who are these folks as they to each other. But yeah, we can talk that in detail how it means for our tactic this evening when they get back, because I don't know much of this, but I'm just trying to understand the dynamics.
No, I figured that was a player question. So
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, this town is very, very divided into gang territory. So it is. Grimsby's basically, at least from what Gary gathers from Varn's explanation, Grimsby is making a play to remove the Vice Admiral. That way he can either replace someone with his own regard or get someone just to get promoted that he likes better. He's not going to burn down Westward, but the implication is that he wants to unite the gangs against that person.
Well, as it stands right now, Westward is kind of his only rival, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
And I'm sorry, you cut out just a little bit. Actually, I cut out because my internet has been hot garbage since the storms have been hitting so regularly. The leader of the Dark Tides is friends with Grimsby,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to get on his bad side.
Yes. Yeah, Varn very much told you that Cynarak is the leader of the Dark Tides, and that he cannot keep your boat safe from Cynarak. So, it was that, and especially amongst that, thieves can't explanation that you've kind of picked up from Noro back in Alara Samal, is that it's one of those professional courtesies of, hey, I like you, but I work for this person. I can't go against them. So, please don't mess this up for both of us.
Yeah, when I talk to Les, then I go into what this means is if we are going to make moves against Grimsby and his plans, we need to be very, very careful to not be noticed.
Okay. Oh, well then I shouldn't
If
take a
everyone
bath
is
in the
coming-
sulfur baths?
Oh no, that's completely different. I mean, if we're going to make a move against Grimsby, try to protect Westward or whatever it is, I have no skin in this particular game. But this party is mostly going to be focused on getting the local gangs to move against the leader of Westward. We have ties to the Corsairs. We have ties to the Corsairs. They're not clear ties, but we've done them a favor and they remember it. They rewarded us. Some people might notice their handiwork in our board. So we don't want to seem like we're sympathizers, while at the same time we can't very well join forces.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to be way more subtle.
Exactly. We can't
Well-
we can't be seen as taking sides, and if we are going to make any kind of moves against Grimsby, even if it's not in the context of his spat with the Admiral, we need to be very careful that nobody sees us as making these moves. Anything that we do tonight at this party to get what we need, the information, and get out, we can't leave a trail that will lead them back to our boat.
Yeah.
We cannot put a target on our back. So we need to get in, get the information, and get out. Try to enjoy the party as much as possible, because that's the point of a party.
And not make any
if we are going to
further promises.
Exactly. The benefit of taking somebody like Lolly in is she is very, very, very noticeable.
Thanks.
She will draw a great deal of attention. Unfortunately, it might be little man complex attention, where you're big, I want to fight you. You know,
True.
those are the type of people that we always have to deal with. Not to generalize, but the first few dwarves I met before you were like, "You're taller than me, I want to fight."
True. Well, I'm used to most everybody else being taller than me, so. Although I am quite tall for a dwarf. I think.
Jyotis is another point, because once you ask him questions, he does tend to. And I don't mean to speak about either of you while you're sitting here, but this is the planning.
Yoda shrugs.
Once somebody asks Jyotis a question, he does tend to answer in its completion, in its entirety, no matter how long it takes. All of the context.
And then
So
some.
that's exactly. So that's a distraction that Jyotis can give us.
Zero
Latham
charisma.
Latham is good at navigating the social circles, and I have some training in this regard, even if I'm not the best at it.
True. Well,
But I have Captain Pancakes. Latham has the intern. And we can
I'm
try
not
to
very good
give
at
him
social
something.
things. I'm good at starting and finishing fights.
You're good at
And
drinking.
Seems that,
I am awesome at
And
making
the,
friends.
well, Grimsby seems to really revel in violence, so perhaps starting a small kerfuffle
Maybe.
would be in our benefit. As
Yeah.
a nice distraction, at the very least.
Well, let's figure out a signal for me to start a brawl.
Tavern brawler. Tavern brawler.
Yeah. I am good
I
at
like that that's.
brawling.
I like that that's a sub race or subclass.
It's a feat, isn't it? Or
Yeah, it's a
It's-
feat.
A feat. Thank you.
I took it
If I come up to you and make a toast to Grimsby, that should be the signal. Within
Okay.
a few minutes after I move away from you, after the toast, that would be your signal to, let's just say, take offense to something within
For me.
about 5 minutes.
That works.
But due to Lolly and Jyotis having their special talents, if we are going to bring them into this, we should probably give them some instructions on which aspects of their personality they should focus on.
Uh-huh. Well, I do know that if we give Lolly specific direction, she usually follows it to a T. An absolute
Yeah.
T.
That is true. Jyotis, however, gets a little bit distracted, so we need to give him something very within his wheelhouse to focus on.
boats. Boats. What? Boats.
Boats, boats, boats.
More boats.
Boats, boats, plants, boats.
Leave the plant out of it.
This specific one, anyway. You can talk about plants all you like.
I might.
Don't
I
tell
was
anyone that
considering
this is
asking
here.
about it. I have this book,
Don't-
Don't get distracted.
Your thing
I
was
just- don't focus on Mr. Snappy, because that might encourage somebody to come investigate.
Oh, I won't talk about Mr. Snappy. I was going to talk about this book.
Plants and books in general. Find topics if you can find an ear. Or not. Just keep talking so people avoid you.
Ah, that is easy.
Latham, we should probably contact him somehow, or at least fill him in, but he's good at improvisation. A little too good.
He's our
It's a
lawyer.
situation.
Oh,
He
we
is
need to
very
tell him
good at
that he needs to get us out of this.
I don't know if that's an option from the way Garret talks.
No. The way Grimsby was practically salivating over the idea of having those rocks, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to get out of this particular situation.
Boy.
That is my worry. So, we are going to have to focus a lot of our energies on just making sure that we can finish this task as quickly as possible without any issues.
Subterfuge.
Sure.
So. Yep.
So, with that, what would you guys like to do?
Well, do we have enough? Are we going to spend the rest of the afternoon making preparations for tonight, or are we going to try and go into town and see a few things that we were supposed to stop by?
I do need to go to the bazaar, but I need to get something out of my cabin first.
Well,
Lestrin, can you go back to the tavern and just give Latham a brief rundown about what we discussed?
Sure.
I'll meet
And
you
then-
there.
And then I'm going over to take that stinky bath.
Of course. I imagine you want to go to the tavern and pick up some of your least clean clothing. I have no idea what you're planning, but I encourage this behavior on every level.
Sure.
Shall we push the meeting with the prettiest hag till tomorrow on the morrow, or?
The issue is I don't know if we'll still be welcome in town upon the morrow.
We should
Right.
probably make time for that today.
Then let's definitely do that then.
So I need to get something, take it to the bazaar to be altered. Let's coordinate. We still need to go over the plans that don't include the more specific plans. We have a very general framework. Now we need to figure out, how the intern and Captain Pancake are going to work together to get up into that office again and gather the things that we need. Or if one of us should go upstairs. None of us are really trained in the art of stealth. So...
No, but I potentially... Do I have that spell yet? I'm checking spells.
I mean, I could be invisible for 6 seconds, or create a minor illusion, or disguise myself.
I think a more consistent invisibility is going to benefit us better.
I
have a spell that can make me move faster. So
I can cast invisibility that lasts for an hour as long as I can maintain concentration on it. I think.
Is it only on you?
What's that?
Is it only on you?
A creature. Wait.
Ooh,
No, sorry. Wait. That's the opposite of casting. Oh no, here it is. I knew I had it. Sorry. A creature I touch, so I can be anybody.
It should not be me. No, I mean it. I am lighter on my feet than Lester, and but I'm.
Well, it doesn't make you silent. It just makes you invisible.
No. That's what I'm saying. While I might be lighter on my feet and able to move a little lighter, I'm also the face of the crew.
Yeah, it's true.
he's going to be
Alright.
looking for me. And if I disappear for an extended period of time, that's going to cause problems.
Who's the most dexterous of us all?
So we really need to
We got
focus
to from
on.
lots.
So I think, Jyotis, you might be the choice to do the sneaking if Intern and Captain Pancake are not able to complete the mission.
I think
Which
I can
means
manage that. As
The
long as I
context,
Markers if you want. Then
say that
the
again.
earlier part of the party, I want you to go out there and talk to everyone you possibly can about any topic you can even imagine. I want you to make everybody so irritated that they want to avoid you, so that when you disappear, they will be relieved.
That's fine.
am not irritating.
Return it on.
I mean,
I want Jyotis to be intentionally irritating.
he gives this big smile, like almost an odd fish smile that might be a little bigger than it should be.
Like Bruce from.
Wait, me or Jyotis?
Jyotis.
Me.
Jyotis. I want Jyotis to talk to everyone about any topic they're willing to listen to until nobody wants to talk to him anymore. And once he reaches the point where nobody wants to talk to him and they are all avoiding talking to him, that is the time that he will be able to slip away from the party, give himself the invisibility spell, and go investigate only. And this is only if Captain Pancakes and the intern are not able to get the information that we require.
Still
Don't
the
take
best
chances.
police show that could never happen, Captain Pancakes and the intern.
I want. It's like I want. Remember Wheels and the Legman from American Dad?
Yeah.
We'll have to have like a one-off where like all the familiars and
As long
plans
as
and
I get to be
everything go.
Captain Pancakes.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
call it your own familiar / plant.
Yeah, the hardest part is going to be Lestrin having to play a rock. Like, that's.
No, well, Lestrin could be the
Rocky.
goat, right? Lestrin could be the electrical goat, right?
That's
No. No, that's too much power.
Oh.
So that is the most important part, is to be able to get the information that we were not able to get this morning.
What do we need still? What are we looking for?
Can you remind me, Bob, exactly what it was? I know that Latham wanted to see about stealing it, making a copy, and slipping it back.
According to my notes from last game, you guys are looking for proof that Grimsby was attempting to buy Snarlygasters.
Yeah.
The Snellygasters.
Oh, we need to copy those documents.
Yeah, because the Gettizias were very keen on figuring out who caused all that death on the Iron Tide.
Wait, do we want the originals and leaving a facsimile in their place, or are we taking just the copy and then that's proof enough?
You know, that's up to you guys. I'm going to let you guys actually discuss that for a second, because I will be right back.
Awesome.
Again, I'm not on the boat, so I can't discuss that. But until we get together.
Yeah, just something to bring up when we meet up. Actually, I'd imagine we're meeting up and going to the Prince Tag, and then we can talk about the party stuff after that.
Yeah.
I think at some point probably gather back at the inn so we can talk with the prettiest hag. Yeah, as you said, because we do want to do that today. I think that's important.
Yeah, we need to do that today for sure, because it's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah,
just in case.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we're
once again,
still in town for another day or two, but just in case.
Nope.
Yeah.
We still get
We
to
really
get
don't want to take that chance.
the. Oh my God, what is Kimmy's job?
The
The Oracle,
Yeah, we still got to get the Kai out of jail.
a Kai, yeah, Kai.
Oh, didn't Latham?
I thought, I already sent off some papers on that.
Psychic paper.
Oh,
You did, but I think you need to go meet with them in person and make sure it went down as should have.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought the papers were enough, but apparently, yeah. Okay.
We should at least make sure, double check.
I think
Yeah.
we need to go down to Westward to see about negotiating for the release of the Kai.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
and we might find some
So-
time doing that today.
So, in going down to Westport, one of the things we could find out and speak with the Admiral about this little party.
Yeah.
But that's optional. I'll let you guys. We will discuss that a little more when we are back at the village.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that in person, but we're gonna have to definitely couch that in the realm of plausible deniability. Because if we mess with Grimsby, there's a chance that our boat will no longer have the protection of the free dogs.
That's true. That's true. So maybe not talk with anyone. A simple note from an unnamed source might be enough there, but we'll see.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm gonna
Heading down to Freeport to release, and that was the who was it we're trying to release? And it wasn't Kimmy. It was
It was an acolyte,
Ocean
right?
Speaker,
Acolytes, yeah.
It was an acolyte of the Kai.
Okay.
Was she a relation to Kimmy, or was she just an acolyte that got into trouble and was wrongfully accused of
I
Like a
think it's a
friend.
cousin.
Yeah.
I think it's her
cousin?
cousin.
Yeah, that sounds right. I vaguely remember it being
Yeah, it was
relation.
her cousin.
And they were accused of being part of the cult, which
Yeah, the one that has something to do with the things
that lighthouse.
like
Yeah,
Jyotis and
Yeah.
Lighthouse.
yeah, the deep lurkers, as they are known, as I am known.
But the cult is the lighthouse, right? Like
That's their
That's
main. That's at
yeah,
least
yeah.
their meeting place here.
Okay. So
Yotis has an idea.
Oil, yeah.
Yeah, Yotis
So
has an
somehow
idea of what they're worshiping.
the Freeport or not Freeport. Westport thinks that like the Vault of the Kai is a cult.
No,
they thought this acolyte was associated with the cult of the coil.
they were
Okay,
wrongfully they levied charges that were false, that the acolyte
Oh,
had
that's
been
an
working with the Malachite coil. But yeah, they were trumped up charges basically.
Cool. That's an easy defense.
Welcome back, Bob.
Hello.
Thank you. Sorry.
Welcome.
All right. Just had to untangle my microphone really quick. There we go. All right. So, was that enough time for you guys to get your plans discussed?
Mhm.
Okay.
For the
Perfect.
most part, I think.
Well, at least like the
Feel
meta of the
flying by
plans.
the seat of our pants, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm kind of fine with you guys meta planning because during the daytime it's safe to proceed through the city and move about where you'd like to go.
Good.
So it's one of those things that I'm not going to make you roll for that. And I find that like it would be at some point in the day your characters would have this like sit down, plan this crap out. Like, what are we doing, guys?
Oh yeah.
So,
And I hate to leave Echo on the boat tonight since we promised her some time in town, but unfortunately.
she gives this sly grin. It's like, well, it's okay. You can be my escort tomorrow.
Oh, good. Fish smile again.
I
Awesome.
think she likes you.
You think? I don't know.
All right, let's go. Let's go get Latham.
I'll swing by the bazaar with Garret if he doesn't mind.
Yeah. I'm going to go into my quarters and get a bundle of stuff out of my trunk.
What's that
Okay.
stuff in your trunk?
What you gonna do with all that junk?
well-
all that junk
Oh.
inside your trunk?
It would happen to be a set of fine clothes.
Ooh.
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 Not me.
Lestrin finds a scoop
Okay,
and rubs it on
so-
himself.
No, I
So
have to
Gary,
live with myself.
Gary and Jyotis are going to the bazaar for the clothing exchange. Lolly, where are you and Lestrin headed? Are you guy and gal going to get Latham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
like shout to Gary, can you pick up some like dry shampoo or something?
Okay.
And
I mean, I can't
And
just buy
candy.
vegetation.
Uh,
Yes, and candy. Yes,
I give
please.
Gary like 5 gold to get
Oh God,
candy.
my plant is gonna get fat on candy.
That like hundreds or thousands of dollars
I mean,
of candy.
It's got
It
a
is
it's already got a rat, and now it's like
you know
other
that
mouths are
store on Pier 39 in San Francisco that you can just go through and like shovel all that Laffy Taffy and like you get it weighed at the end and it's still only like $10 and you're like, wow, I just got 2 pounds of taffy. Yeah, so multiply that. That's essentially Gary has the capacity to get probably the better part between 30 to 40 pounds of taffy right now.
Lestrid, maybe sugar is a mutation causer? Just a thought.
This isn't for you or your plant. Shut the hell up.
Okay.
Maybe I just like taffy. Shut up.
Maybe I
Making
just
sure.
really like taffy. Saltwater taffy is awesome.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That is the best stuff.
Oh, man.
I whispered to Gary, get some that are meat flavored.
Meat flavored?
Beat?
Yeah. No, not beet. Meat. MEAT. But it's a whisper.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
I still think you should mishear it as beat.
That would be
Like
amazing.
candy.
Gary, roll a perception check on Lestern's whisper. Let's see how this goes. What does caution say you hear?
Oh, I didn't roll caution. I rolled my other one. Total is 10.
Then you would hear what you want to hear because Lestern did say meat, but you know, can't say what's going through your mind right now, so it's up to you. I leave it in your
Cool.
corner.
I'm good with whatever.
All right. So,
But
since we've been a lot with Gary and Jyotis so far, Lestern and Lolly, the two of you get back to the Rebel Blossom. Latham, what have you been doing? Have you been drinking, sitting at the pool? Like,
there's a pool.
Right?
there is definitely a pool.
So Latham did go wandering around the Bazaar, eyeing a few things while they were away.
Mhm.
Sorry, Georgia, it wasn't for you. When you gasp and the dog's like, for me? Oh, she did it again.
In particular, like wandering through the Bazaar, you know, looking at some shiny trinkets, but to a shopkeeper to inquires a bit about their perception of that the gentleman in the strange manor at the end of town.
Ooh. Roll. Let's do investigation.
Okay. I gotta get my dice. It was in a while.
You're right. I should make you fight. Sorry. I will rectify that.
19.
Okay. Yeah, you find out from a couple of the vendors as you're kind of going through. And a few of them wind up going, oh, that's a really cool tool, Les. Sorry. A few of them wind up kind of telling you that, like, oh, Grimsby, you do not mess with Grimsby. He is a powerful man. And he's got a weird thing for animals. That's kind of the common consensus that you get, that like Grimsby is much more intelligent that he comes off to the other major cities. That even though he's considered like the joke magister by them, that's the appearance he keeps because he wants them to not be too invested in Trinispad. He likes running things here. He is good to his word on coin, but he is not the kind of person you cross.
So the general perception from these keepers is one of fear, not admiration. Or
Yeah, again, this is a very I hate just the label of like just gang run, but in the meantime, this town is built upon sections of people working together towards their own common survival and benefit, and Grimsby has a hold on all of them. So, yeah, he is very much the Don of this town.
Wonder what would happen if there were a power vacuum.
Imagine the westward folks might move against.
So that's what you find out, Latham. Meanwhile, Lolly and Lestrin do manage to collect you. Yes, there is a pool inside the treehouse that is actually basically just below the skyward that you are staying at, because you have the fancy dormitory area, albeit the vocal part, but there is a somewhat outdoor pool because it's still, open roof, but there's coverings on the sides and they keep the water very clean. And there's both private baths and saunas and an actual swimming pool for people to enjoy.
Is that for all the patrons, or is it just part of ours complex?
It is part of yours. Part of the whole payment that you guys got.
Nice.
Cool. So Latham's gonna stop on. So after hitting up the Bazaar, heading towards the west. Stop by once more the hotel, or the it seems more and more like a resort with got a pool and everything. At that point is Lestrin.
Lestrin and Lolly would be there by this point.
Okay.
Lolly is probably showering, as in water use with her trunk.
I don't think we really have time for that.
It's mid-afternoon.
Latham, we got...
I do... Okay.
Okay.
I do want to spend... let them know that we have a little bit of time. It doesn't seem that... I asked Lestrin and Lolly, are Garret and Jyotis gonna come over here? We still have to chat with the ugliest hag at some point.
We're supposed to meet them back at the Bazaar.
Now, or do you have a moment to go swing by and take care of and advocate on the acolyte's behalf?
See.
Rob, time check.
I don't.
You're in mid-afternoon because they this is about 1 bell.
Okay.
Dinner party will be starting at about 7 bells.
Okay.
It would be fashionably late to arrive at a 7:30. It would be uncomfortably late to arrive at 8.
Oh, we've got time.
And uncomfortable to arrive on time.
No, it's fashionable. You gotta be fashionable.
I have to be annoyingly on time.
Parties. Yeah. An hour earlier so that they know you seriously.
Yeah. No, I have to be annoyingly on time to the stroke.
I did not know that it was a dwarven custom to be so punctual.
Yeah, we'll cover that with you. Right now, we need to go meet Jyotis and Garret over at the Bazaar because we gotta go meet the prettiest hag today.
Back to the Bazaar, I suppose.
That was the plan, right? I didn't mistake anything.
Yeah, no, we have to go see her.
Okay.
I think that was the plan. We're gonna meet here or at the. I don't remember.
Sounds like it's the plan now, for damn sure. So
we're gonna meet somewhere.
So,
Lolly, I got it right?
At about 1.5 bells, y'all meet up at the Bazaar. Gary, you find the merchants that you need to make your altercations relatively easily. Again, there's quite a few people that are willing to work on clothing out there, and even though it's a bazaar and mostly outdoors, there's a lot of nice coverings done. A few very competent tailors that look like they moved here by need rather than by choice, because Avila is an expensive city, and if you wrong people there, there's not many options left to you. So, looks like they've come here to make money.
I know that I don't have time to get a whole new set of clothes, so I'm bringing these to be calmed down.
Got it. And
these clothes, these are the type of things with like gold and platinum thread, and there's like freaking jewels sewn into these damn things.
Yeah,
I want to bring it down to a well-made tunic with a little bit of flashy piping, but not nearly as gaudy as they are.
Yeah, so the specific stall you wind up actually at is not with either a human or half-elf vendor, but ironically a tabaxi vendor, who this one has a very whitish fur pattern on them. And
it's the one that I saw earlier?
No, that was a gray one.
Oh yeah, that was great.
This one gives you a stare and looks at it and just, yes, too much. How can I help you? You want it totally toned down, partly toned down. Too many ruffles on this. Larsa malfashion.
Exactly. Let's just say it was a gift, and I hate it because of all of the fluff. I really want to keep the fine cut, maybe slight alterations to fit my form a little better, but the cut and the style should be maintained, but the fufara can all go.
Yes, I can take care of that. She looks it over. Oh shit. Well, Gary, she takes out one of her claws and just starts kind of gliding it down some of the thread. And it literally falls out without fraying any part of the suit. I rolled a natural 20 on her check to this alteration. So instead of the normal, like, yeah, I'll have it for you in a couple of hours, she's like, yeah, see, right there.
I mean, Jyotis was trying to pull out his scissors, but gosh.
Yeah, no, she looks at you like, what kind of monstrous tool is that? That is no.
Puts it away.
I will show you. I will show you what. You may call me Brit.
Good craftsmanship there.
Right. And she, again, within about 20 minutes, she has this altered to a point of just simple beauty. It is elegant. She never took a measurement from you, but it fits perfectly, to the point where you're worried if you eat too much, it might feel a little bit rotund and tight. But it makes you look good. And again, every bit of frilliness, every bit of extra part that was part of that fine clothing is taken away, but the overall cut of it is left the same, and the overall composure of it is now more refined, if anything. You may actually rename that fine clothing to a captain's uniform.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Captain Garret. Does that promote the kit? Does that promote Captain Pancakes to Commodore?
After you get a second ship.
We got two. We got the dinghy or the.
You're right. Commodore Pancakes it is. Sorry. After bringing this beautiful new suit to you, she gives a small nod of her head and just, this will make an excellent statement wherever you go. She kind of sizes it up on you and just, Yes. Leans in a little bit and like, I tell you, Bright Bit does good work, doesn't she? Yes, she does. And she's kind of eyeing it over you and just, I would say my work is worth at least 10 gold. Given the speed. And she flashes those claws again. Dexterity.
I'm going to give her the 10, and I'm also going to pull one of the small gems that she removed and give that to her as a little bit of a bonus.
Ah, thank you. The threads are
This
quite
is
nice also.
expensive.
Do you mind if I keep them?
For 2 gold.
She chuckles and just, oh, please tell me I will see you at the party tonight.
That's why I had this outfit.
Ah, very good. Well, this is my bazaar, and I will be there in attendance tonight. You will look quite dashing. Save me a dance.
I promise. I'm not much of a dancer, but I'll make my best effort.
She gives a glance towards your sword belt and says, an even stare, and just, no, you dance.
In my own way.
I will see you.
Until then. And I give her a nice, very formal bow.
Mm-hmm. And she returns it to you. And as you step away, she gives Jyotis one final stare and scissors, honestly.
He just shrugs. You're. There's a reason you do what you do.
Her eyes go a bit wide with that look of, yes. You know how cats make that face where like, yes, dumb human. This is, yes, dumb fishman. Yes, I do know. And right about that time, when Gary has his new uniform, the rest of the party arrives. All 5 of you in one place finally tonight.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi guys.
Gary, looking sharp.
Yeah.
Nice threads.
Whoa.
Latham appreciates.
It's an improvement over the previous state.
Huh.
I'm debating whether to change out of it for the next stage of our journey, or if I should just keep it.
No,
Fine.
this is you forever now.
I don't know.
At
a
least
coin?
for tonight.
This is specifically for the party. I do not know if it would be best to keep it on or switch back to my armors.
Maybe for formal meetings that are guild related, potentially.
Or like
I think you
small
should switch to your
functions.
regular clothes before we go meet the prettiest hag, just in case she wants to charge you an arm and a leg for looking so nice.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, and
There's no time. Let's go.
Latham, you would have noticed this because of A, who you are, and B, what you do. But Gary has gotten at least 4 people staring at him with that, like, oh wow, he looks nice. Like, one lady has let out a low whistle after walking by, and like, whereas the rest of this party really is too obvious and Gary's getting a bit too much attention, you know how the public views fashion and everything, so you have that moment of realizing that Gary is very much getting attention in this.
A knowing smile. And like throws an arm over Gary. He's like, sorry about the stuff earlier, but you're getting some attention now.
I can just picture Gary grumbling a little bit, like, damn it.
for such a quiet, someone who wants to be nondescript, you are exact opposite. I do appreciate it.
He looks sharp.
You look sharp.
So sharp you could pierce the hull of 100 ships.
And a few
That's
girls'
a
hearts along the way.
All right, guys, it is 9:02, so let's take a 15-minute break, and then we'll meet the prettiest hag, okay?
Yeah.
See
Sounds
everyone
good.
back 9:17.
Cool.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, Fidelio.
And we're back a little early. Tribby, did you start the thing? Tribby?
I can always
Did it.
Fidelio again.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, we're back. So, we're off to see the prettiest hag.
I just want to go on record that I have changed back into my armor, so people
Okay.
stop staring at me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
People
Yeah.
don't stare at you.
Right.
That's why he
Lolly's entirely unfamiliar with this.
That's why he likes us, Lolly.
It's one of the many reasons I hang out with you people.
So, how would you guys like to try to find the prettiest hag? Is my next question.
Door to door.
I feel that the goblins are probably our best option.
Agreed. Did you say you needed to meet with them, Lolly?
Yes, but they wanted to, like, get an introduction to her first. I mean, we could go to Hackmooch.
Well, and do remember, it has been told to multiple party members that she is somewhere in the Stone Spit Swamp. She will not be in Hackmooch.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, let's just go to the Stone Spit Swamp.
sure.
Boing, 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 boing.
Alright.
So, as you guys reach this section of town, most of the houses here are built elevated because there are genuine swamps in this
Boing, boing.
area. Yeah, and the roads here are practically non-existent. There are even a couple of basically like low-skimmed paddle boats that people kind of push around over the mud just to avoid having to trudge through it. You do see a couple of alligators. There's also, in addition to the houses that are elevated, a few stone ruins. One is an approximate 3-story stone tower that has no fancy dressings to it whatsoever. In front of that is a stone house that is somewhat cavernous looking. And beyond that is another, what looks like ruined stone manor. In addition to some
That
ruins.
She is super rich, and we should start there.
All right. Would you like to roll a nature check, Lolly?
Okay. I'm also going to use shape water to make, like, snowshoe kind of things to kind of spit off on this hyper viscous, gross water.
Mhm.
Nature, you said? 19.
Actually, okay. Well, I said nature. How about a survival check also?
Survival. Well, that would be a natural 20 plus 4.
Excellent. Yeah. So the nature check kind of is where you check around to make sure that there's no animals or fauna that will mess with you if you get too close to it. And you do wind up seeing some remarkable vines that look like they're eating bugs in the distance.
Like Mr. Snappy.
And beyond that, as you do get a little bit closer to the buildings, with your survival check, you do help tell the party where not to step to piss off any alligators that are in some of the small ponds here.
Mhm.
And with that, you see a 7.5-foot tall figure that is as wide as 2 Lesterans standing outside the stone cavernous building with a greatsword on its back. It is very muscular in its stature and figure, a bald, shaved head with tribalistic markings of black and blue in cross hatch marks with runes upon them, and glowing soft blue eyes. And as you notice it, it notices you
Ooh.
and gives just a twinge of its head towards you.
Oh, whoa. Is this like a real person or a statue?
You know, it was easy enough to think it was a statue for the first half second because it was so unmoving. But when it does move, you're like, oh, that is a person.
Oh.
And in
hello in Giant.
in Giant, it responds to you. Well met. You here for
The prettiest
Her?
bag.
He gives a nod, just in Giant. True name, Hag Tanner. In
Like Stitchy
common,
Tanner?
no, not me. I am Pavi.
Oh,
Pavu
Pavu. Oh, hi, Pavu.
gives you a nod. Walks closer. In Giant still, just to you. Hag Tanner, commoners mistook as Hag. Rolled with it. She is inside. Doing fortune tellings today.
Ooh. Cool. Well, hopefully she can make a fortune. Get it?
He kind of giggles a little. Limit 3 people at a time to go in, please.
Okay. Hey, Gary? He says that she's in here. This is Pavu, by the way. He's got a pretty great sword.
He gives you a wave. Big old wave of his hand.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you, Pavu.
Gives you a nod.
3.
Some of them nod.
What do you say we send the lawyer, the Garret, and I don't know, Lolly?
Yes, please. Because I need to ask
That's what I
about
was
the
gonna
goblin
say.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the goblin children is the main
Wait,
part.
you said 3 people, but how many lawyers, fish people, and spiky, angry dwarfs are allowed? Does Lestrin
In-
count as a
was-
half?
Was this in common or in Giant again? Brittany?
What?
Was this in common
In
or in
Giant.
Giant?
I said giant. Sorry.
He gives this hearty laugh that's just this warm rumble, almost like a boulder falling down a mountain. And after as you speak Giant, I would trust you. You speak like a Firbolg. Don't look like a Firbolg, though.
Firbolg adjacent.
Hmm.
I'm
Well,
an artist's interpretation of a Firbolg.
he gives you an odd look and just... I am an artist's interpretation of a warrior.
You see,
As you are amusing, all of you may enter.
Thanks.
But I will tell you this. If any of you try to harm Hag Tanner, I will throw my greatsword.
Pavu's gonna throw greatsword, guys.
What?
It's
Leans
your
back up.
dad. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But we can
5
all
may
go in.
enter. Bad behavior, Pavu throw greatsword. And this is in common for the understanding of the rest of the group.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Pavu.
Out of character, guys. This is one of his old characters, and I love Pavu.
Awesome.
All right.
Seems like a nice fella.
Mm,
Pretty great.
yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Very efficient greatswords.
Don't doubt it. That's a pretty great sword he has.
Yeah, no, it's nearly the size of him. The
Yeah.
handle is ironically a bit longer and curved in an odd way. Like, just something you would note, Jyotis.
Yeah.
Almost like a
ranged
fish hook.
weapon.
Like a fish hook.
All right. Let's go see the prettiest
So with
hat.
that, the 5 of you are shown the entrance. And he gestures, and there's a couple of what looks like ratted cloth that, as you approach it, actually turns out to be vines that have tangled so tightly that they've kind of drowned out the light.
Oh.
And as you approach, they open by grabbing each other and pulling apart. And you see small little insects actually doing the work of this.
Ooh.
The interior is very dim. In fact, it is so dark that you can barely see the silhouette of what appears to be someone standing at a full 8.5 feet, covered in a brown and gray cloak across their body. There's many trinkets, odds and ends here. There's plenty of poultices and odd parts of anatomy in jars, in addition to toads and a couple of birds cawing from the shelf. Even one random straggly gray cat kind of wanders through the shelves, navigating them almost as though it's looking for an ingredient in particular.
Hi,
As you
I'm
enter.
Lolly in Giant.
She speaks to you, Lolly.
Are you Hag Tanner?
I am. You may call me Pavi.
Like Pavu, but Pavi.
I am his mother.
Oh.
Enter, but in common tongue, prettiest hag will do.
Okie dokie.
And she gives you this wave of a hand that is, again, this is more than the size of Lestrin's head when she waves that shadowy hand and beckons you forward. What have you come to seek?
Well, a few things. Actually, first about goblins. And, this is all in Giant. First of all, the goblin chief of Hackmooch, Meek, would like to meet you, and he would really appreciate it if you guys could form an alliance, and he's very interested in setting up some communications with you, and I promised I'd at least say so and say hi for him. So hi.
She pulls out a serrated knife that has a jagged cut into it with an onyx hilt and puts it on the table in front of you, and it glows for just a half second. And the metal gleams almost as though it's not Damascus, but it's almost like a granite veiny quality to it. She sets that down and just, when you see Meek, give him this as a token of peace.
Okay. Wow. Can I feel wrong about taking something from you before we've even begun, because there's a lot more. I fish into my pouch and I find the onyx stones and I put them on the table for her.
3 stones of value, given by luck. 3 fortunes free.
Oh, thank you.
And 2 at a discount.
Some expensive apply. See store for details.
Latham smirks a little at that.
Yeah,
Appreciates.
that was in common, so that everyone could understand.
So, like, the first question that we've had has been really important. There's a tribe of goblin children that have been artificially aged up, and we needed some help in restoring them to their natural age.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Not too
Nice. This
Persuasion 17.
Yeah. No need for assistance on that. That's good enough. She gives a nod and just... time has been robbed, as kind of a question to you.
It has. And then I kind of briefly, just like flip notes, otherwise we'd be there all day. Explain
Right.
about the urethrical and how they've been artificially aged up and how it was devouring their livelihood. And
She gives a nod. Understood. Leans in close. There are two paths of recovery. They may come and see me, and I can give them new lives. They may not awaken as goblins, though. Should that not be the path of choice, you will need time itself. And she...
time elementals?
Indeed. But how do you catch it? She gives this little cackle of this, like, leans back, turns. Gatin, get me that orb. And sure enough, the cat waves through multiple shelves again and, like, comes to this small little orb that sits, and in the darkness it's difficult to tell anything about it, but it is definitely spherical in shape and approximately the size of a crystal ball, and it knocks it off the shelf towards her, and she, with a sudden gesture, catches it and pulls her hand back in a very old lady slow motion style. This is what you'll need. This is an orb of time. Normally not very useful, but sold as a trinket. But the elves that made it missed the point of time. With it, and she hands it to you, you can catch time itself upon its death and grant it to those who have been denied it. But be warned, there is a cost to fighting time. It may take from you or those you love in exchange to save them.
Okay.
You may add an
Uh-huh.
you may add an orb of time to your inventory. It is a wondrous item that with this orb, you can use an action to determine whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime outside.
Ooh.
It only functions on the material plane.
I love this item, first of all. Can I use this one to kind of like catch the elemental and use it on multiple goblins? Like, how many elementals do I have to catch? Huh.
One. One is all you need. One is all you can afford to face.
Okay. Oh, there really is an orb of time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, ye of
I
little
love
faith.
it.
Oh yeah. It actually is there.
And it only functions on the material plane.
Yep.
This is my favorite part of it, but I was like, this would be such a great little item to hand you that, like, yeah, later on, if you catch a time elemental, there you go.
Sometimes my boobs can tell if it's raining right now.
I mean,
Alright, I'm in love with this.
my
okay.
shoulder can tell if it's raining.
All right. Well, I think I took up my 3 questions at least.
No.
Oh.
Questions are not fortune. Would you like to know your fortune?
Well, I guess. Does it involve helping goblins?
Let's see. And she has this little pause and gives this slow snap of her finger, and it sounds like rock grinding upon rock. In fact, Lestrin, you have memories of underground avalanche and, like tunnel collapsings as it snaps, and the candles that have been on the edge of her stone tablet ignite in a dark green flame, providing just enough light to where the table can see. Let us draw for you. 5 cards there will be. 5 fates we see. And she starts to lay them out. And she puts one first in the western point to herself. It's going to be east to you. And then another of them gets nice and close to you up in the northern quarter. The third she plants in the east. And then roll a perception check.
Okay. Lolly is just like riveted to this right away. Perception, not too great actually. 12.
Okay. Yeah. Just looks like she's drawing from the deck. She
This is like
goes to
kids
flip.
in a card shop, just like
Right, no. She goes to flip the first card that she sees. And forgive me, I need my consult book on this because I'm not as good as the prettiest hag.
She's incredible. I love her.
The first card, the bishop upside down. Interesting.
Interesting.
Someone is plotting, planning, and scheming around you.
Oh yeah.
She goes to draw the second card. The mercenary, also upside down. You are surrounded. People that fight for power and wealth.
Oh.
Third
She
card.
famous in common?
Yes.
Okay.
Third card. The priest. Interesting. There is an enlightenment and a higher purpose towards you. And then the fourth card she flips. The raven. Interesting. There is a secret potential for good. One that may come from something that sounds bad. And then she goes to flip the final card. The mists. Right side up. There is something mysterious in your future that cannot be avoided. A great quest or journey that will try you. But it may have a better outcome than expected. Beware religious organizations, those who fight only for money, and turn instead towards those with fundamental beliefs, a strict code, and those who scheme may wind up helping you. That is your fortune. And I will actually take a picture of the cards
Is that good?
so that you can see what I
Spooky.
drew. All right, cool.
So wait, avoid religion or wait, what?
She gives this long pause and is like, I cannot tell you what to do. I can only tell you what the cards see. You must avoid organized religions, but believe in those who hold beliefs and true faith. But again, there will be a perilous quest ahead of you. And there is a secret potential of good that may come of something that may seem bad. This is all I can tell you.
See,
It is not
totally
much.
should have become a warlock. There's even a bird there.
He's working on.
That is your fortune.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
My gosh, so many, but I think you should help everybody else.
Of course, dear.
Thank you.
Please stand back.
Okay.
Who approaches next?
Did we have other business with her, or was the goblins the main?
3 fortunes free to remain.
Yeah,
I
get
will
your
go
fortune
next.
told. It's confusing.
Garret steps up. I will go next then.
Very good, young man. Let us see what the cards shall tell us of you. And again, she lays them out, starting with her compass west, going north to east to south, and then puts a card in the center. Garret, make a perception check at disadvantage because you're in dim light.
Hooray! I rolled an 8 and a 2, so
Yeah.
that would mean 5.
Yep. So she goes to flip the first card. The traitor. Right side up. Looks at it for a second. Smuggling and black markets hold good fortune for you in the future, but also genuine markets too. Flips the northern card. The wizard. There will be a quest for you to gain knowledge and intellect, and in exchange you shall gain power of your own. Goes to the east. The paladin. Your beliefs are steadfast. They are pure of their own intentions. She goes south. The marionette. Someone is pulling your strings, controlling you in a way you do not yet know. And then she flips the final card. Innocent. How interesting. There is someone of great importance to this world that's life is in danger, that you can save.
Sorry, I'm scribbling.
Nope, that's fine. I'm only doing this once, though. This is one of those ones that I'm not going back on.
That's what the recording's
Let
for.
this be corrupted.
Is that the same?
no, that's the same one. Damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking phone. Ruining the magic.
I mean, it's not one of those dial-up radio phones. How do you text on this thing? You can't. It's ancient technology.
All right. So.
Damn it, I can't spell today.
Speller.
Well, I can't spell any
I keep
day, and
adding
normally
it.
that's what you're here for.
Under Paladin, I tried to write, Garrett's faith is steadfast, but for some reason, I wrote THE because I always write the. My brain is just filling in stuff.
Old
And
English,
marionette.
You just add these to the end of everything.
Yes, the old.
That.
We were, after Garret steps back, Jyotis kind of leans into him and says, we were told to ask her about my thing, and he kind of looks down towards his pocket.
Then you should go next.
Do you want that in private?
Not that sort of thing. The thumb.
Boy. Cheap. You
Jyotis,
wish fortune, or you wish a question answered.
I wish a question answered, and he pulls the fucking thing he hates out of his pocket.
The candles in the room go out. She makes a hissing sound, and in the distance you see a cracked mirror start to glow a little bit, and she quickly clicks her fingers again, whispers a word, and those same fauna curtains, for lack of a better word, with the vines and the insects fold over it before it can actually fully light up.
Mm-hmm.
That is great evil. Put it away now.
back in his pocket as quickly as possible.
You accepted a bargain.
Well, I was sort
For
of
one I do not dare to mention here.
That's fair. I don't want to mention either. I was trapped in a bissy, though. Inside of a bag of holding.
Ask your question.
I believe I've taken care of the bargain, but this did not disappear, so I'm assuming it's a calling card.
Of course it didn't disappear. The bargain, once made, cannot be unmade. It will be an offer over you for a very long time.
Right, so it's merely an offer.
Yes, not a committal, but it will be a permanent dark reminder, something you could turn to in any given moment. You should not, for the sake of yourself and any you love.
Would it be safe to put it in a lead box?
No.
Damn it.
That works on mortal magic. The thing you tamper with and made a deal with is no mere mortal.
So I need more powerful things.
She has this pause and just, power does not free you from power. Not if you wish to remain yourself. Power grants responsibility.
Noted.
Wish you a fortune.
Does anybody else want to go?
You got Jyotis?
I guess it's me.
Oh, I'll tell the others, but they have to pay a little. 3 sets of onyx, 3 fortunes free. You may roll a perception check as she starts to shuffle the cards and deal them.
Perception. Well, that's a nat 20 on the dice, and it's a total of 25.
So what you notice is that the first 3 cards come out perfectly naturally from the deck. But then, out of just the corner of your eye, you see with how she shuffled the cards, she created a second deck, a second suit within the deck that is pulled from. And that's the final 2 cards.
Interesting.
Now, let us see your fortune. Flips the first card. The Necromancer. Dark power and energy cling over you. We already knew that. Come on, cards. Flips the next card. The Philanthropist upside down. Someone will offer you a great boon at a terrible consequence. You will have another offer. Flips the third card. The Berserker. Ooh, that's a bad hand. She looks at it for a second. Thinks about it for a moment. There is a bloodlust or bestial nature. Perhaps not of yours, but perhaps of an enemy. Flips the fourth card. The Horseman. The White Rider. This is death, disaster, or possibly the end of your bloodline impending. Flips the final card. And the Ghost. An old enemy. This is a dark fate. I wish I had not told it. And she leans back for a second. You have an ancient enemy that will bring death to all you know and care for. It will cause bloodlust, and you will be offered power to counter it. But you cannot take that power, lest you become Worse than that feathers, patron.
I think I know what it is you speak of.
You may think you know, but you will only know when you encounter it.
I think I've already encountered it once.
She gives you a look and just... All I can do is read the cards for you. I cannot tell you what they mean.
What was the second one again? The first one was a necromancer. What was the second
The
one?
second one is the philanthropist flipped upside down.
Yeah, upside down philanthropist.
Oh my gosh.
That's a dark deal, yo.
Hey, man, we know I started out darkly.
Yup.
It's pretty fitting, honestly.
What is a flower? Oh, it means terminal illness. There was no good one in there.
I know, right? Like, everyone else's has been like, oh, that's kind of neat. That's interesting. This one is like, it's fucking metal, yo.
Quick question: are any of Gary's cards reversed? I can't.
No, Gary's cards were all upright.
Oh,
Ooh. Just an upright fortune.
is that a good thing?
Gary's made a lot of sense. There's a lot of...
Or, I'm sorry, Gary's one that was upside down was the mercenary, representing that there may be an enemy
Marionette?
out. The mercenary.
There were only 5 cards, right?
Yes. Yours is the first one I posted. Or no, yours is the second one. Sorry.
His is
Sorry. No, Gary's is all
Oh, yeah,
upright.
yeah, yours is all upright.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
no.
got
Yeah,
the
so-
traitor, the wizard, the paladin, the marionette, and the innocent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I was like, mercenary? What the fuck?
I'm
Yeah, no,
mercenary.
sorry, that was for
Write
Lolly.
that down.
Yeah,
like, I
have a
didn't
lot
write
of
that down. What happened?
upsy-downsies.
Yeah.
When she said dark fate, the last two of Jyotis's fate, he had 2 things flash through his mind, and one of them was that button in Mirar Tovage
Mm-hmm.
that we never pushed.
Well, those were my 3 fortunes free. Normally, for this deck, it is 50 gold a reading, as it is a certainty of future fate.
Whoa.
But I will charge 10 gold for the last 2.
From his pocket, sits down on the table, 10 gold, and looks over at Lestrin. I'd be interested to know a bit about our Sparky Dwarf friend.
Then approach, Sparky Dwarf. Lestrin, do you approach? Lestrin?
Hello!
Lesterin.
She having
Fell asleep.
communication problem? No, I see her trying to speak, but
Oh,
it's not coming through.
it's not coming through.
You're muted.
Log out and log back in, Lestrin.
Reboot.
Sorry, buddy. You're muted. Or...
No, it's not muted. It's just
Oh,
her
I heard
voice ain't coming through.
Reboot.
I heard her say woohoo once, and that's it. Or something like that.
Reboot.
Maybe we all sound like robots to her.
uh-oh.
Yeah, not sure. Could just be her connection, honestly.
Yeah, little spy sometimes.
Discord, you know. It's all those dark cards that Jyotis got.
The darkest fate.
Oh no.
All right. Well, let's move on from Lestrin. She's going to instead stare at Latham. Wish you your own fortune.
I suppose there's no getting away from the future, though I'm always a little bit, if you don't mind me being a little skeptical on fortunes. Read.
She leans over and Normal skepticism is good, but this deck, in blood, is truth. She goes to deal out the cards. You may roll an Arcana check as she does.
Oh no. Ooh, there's gonna be a whole lot there. 8 in total.
Yeah. Difficult to tell. There is some sort of magical energy around them, so they are not just cards, but
Mm-hmm.
beyond
No surprise
that,
there.
yeah. First card,
Right.
the merchant facing up. You make deals that may be better for you in the long run than you estimate. Second card, the missionary, also facing up. Someone in a religious order needs your help. The third card, facing up. The transmuter. Interesting. She kind of pauses to look at that for a moment. There is a new discovery with unforeseen consequence on the horizon. Flips the second to last card. The Tempter, upside down. There is someone who tempts others towards evil ends near you. And then finally flips the Dungeon. This is isolation and imprisonment. Should you fall in temptation, you and those you love will face loneliness, possible imprisonment, or defeat.
The last one might be a little difficult for me, but thank you for your kind words.
And with that, she is going to...
Was that dungeon? Was that up or down?
that was up. The only one that was upside down on you is the Tempter.
Got it.
I think I got this working now.
Cool.
Yeah.
There it is. And then I am going to deal out Lesterin's cards as well.
Were mine all upside down?
A lot of yours were, man. Like, I was weirded out by that, actually.
The
Let's do
transmuter has
Lesterin.
4 boobies.
Thank you for sharing, Lolly.
Well,
Chaz has 4 arms.
All right. And for you, Sparky Dwarf, the Conjurer, great power sits at the precipice in front of you. The Torturer. Beyond that power, there will be darkness. There will be suffering. She looks at it in detail for just a moment, leaning in. Interesting. Has a pause once again. There is something sadistic you will have to face. The Thief. She, again gives a little bit of a pause, out of almost surprise. You will face someone who is stolen from you. This may not be monetary. Innocence, power, family. The Seer. There is inspiration and keen intellect. An outcome will depend on your mind. And flips the final card, the Broken One. Your failures have haunted you for your life. You bury them. But if you do not start to collect yourself, You will fail against the torturer and the thief. You must conjure your power to fix yourself before you can succeed.
Ooh.
With that, she goes to put her deck away. Now, any other questions for me? Or have I fulfilled what you need?
What do you know of the malachite coil?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh dear. I'm not persuasive. I'm very not persuasive.
What'd you get there?
2.
Do I need to ask a little more about the malachite coil?
Maybe.
You can ask. Your request for information, though, will be at disadvantage after how Jyotis asked, because, like, when she's having this intense stare with Lester, and Jyotis is like, hey, do we need to worry about the malachite coil? And she just kind of looks at you like, you are... What is the phrase in common? Cock-blocking a reading.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
I was... Wait, because he's asking about the malachite coil right now, or...
Yeah, because he's asking about the malachite coil, but asking again is at disadvantage. But you're a bard, so even at disadvantage, you can't do worse than he did.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if my silver tongue plays on disadvantage, but... 8 plus... this is persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it's an 18.
Oh, yeah. No, she leans
I
forward.
gotta love that plus 10.
Yeah.
That's our lawyer.
One who knows how to ask. You should learn from this one.
I'm doing my best. I'm better with trinkets.
Based on your cards, I doubt it. She leans back for a second and just... The malachite coil are a dangerous thing that Grimsby trifles with for protection from the storms without owing to Alabaster. They have more power than he can know. Just not here. Not yet. She gives this sort of scoff. I suppose I can toss the bones. And sure enough, she actually gets some bones out of her pocket, sets down a little sprinkling of what appears to be ash on the table, clicks her fingers together and ignites it with sparking hands, basically. Shocking grasp. And then throws the bones down and watches them kind of crackle and burst for a moment. This one I gotta roll for because she's making an augury. Okay. There is woe found in them. They are more powerful than they are letting on. Their influence is leading through many parts of the town. I have kept them out of my section, but they promise power and wealth to those who join. And they will eventually move against Grimsby. And she moves a bone out of the way, looks at the last one. That is not good. The malachite coil itself is not one thing, but two in one. She lifts it up, takes a bite out of the bone and just... It is corruption upon itself. It battles itself as much as it wants to battle everything else. There is weakness in that. But strength in its purpose is where they align. You should be careful about them. She brushes that off. Well, anything else?
I think that's all we know for now.
I have something. More a request for insight than anything else.
Ah, the wise ask for insight. Come forward, boy.
Come sit again, or is it standing room only?
It's basically standing room only. You can tell that the reason that it was like 3 at a time is because this is not that big of a room to begin with. But in the meantime, she beckons you forward and kind of shuffles the rest back. Sit. What is the insight you seek?
I'm going to briefly explain that in our attempt to save the lives of the Yenfir Seekers, Grimsby has saddled us with the contract he made with them. Would it be folly to meet with his terms to get involved in this in the first place?
Ah, you wish to know your future if you seek this contract specifically. Interesting. She starts to rummage around her desk, and I do mean rummage. and eventually, she pulls out a very fine-looking gemstone-covered wand that at first you think is made of a petrified wood, but actually, after staring at it for a moment, you realize it is a brownish rock with an emerald at its end. And then she also sits down this hearing horn that is silvered. And then beyond that, goes up to her head and plucks out an eye and sets down a glass eye on the table. Yes. Let us see what we shall see.
I'm watching this very intently.
Yeah. She waves her hand over all 3 objects. The future is difficult to know. But... you are going to need a bigger boat.
Hi.
She kind of turns back. A moment, if you please. Opens the mirror with a gesture of her hands. And you see what appears to be a shape start to coalesce, and she very specifically looks back at you and says, "Do not look into the mirror, as I do. It is not meant for you." Looks back at it.
We'll avert
I
my
try
eyes.
and like peer over her shoulder a little.
Oh, good. Roll a charisma saving throw.
Okay. Why would you say I can't look at this? Because then I'm gonna want to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And charisma.
17.
You feel almost a presence start to enter your mind with a sweet little whisper of, "Dear child, won't you save us?" And in this moment, you start to have that, like, yeah, and then you kind of snap out of it with, like, wait, why are they so sweet sounding? Like, that can't be good. And
They're
you
always
see,
innocent. It seems fine.
you see out of the corner of your eye that the glowing image of several women standing in the mirror start to change to skinless, horrifying shapes with too many joints long weaving hair that flows in the distance, almost like it spreads out across. And you get this brief, startling image of the three-tailed lady coming back, and you pull away at the last second.
Don't like it.
Are you okay, Lolly?
Hmm. Yep, no, I closed my eyes like you all did, yep.
Mm-hmm.
After a moment, she recovers the mirror, comes and sits back down, and gives Gary that, like, come here motion with her hand. Come closer. She kind of lifts back her hood, and you see that unlike Pavu outside, whose marks were runic but black and thick, hers glow iridescently, almost as though they have an energy of their own and an etherealness to them, much like the cognitive realm energy. You cannot see this, sir. This is her and Gary.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And as she leans in, your hunt may succeed for the rock. Grimsby plays a dangerous game that will collapse upon him no matter what move he makes. But if and when he does collapse, Trinisbad will be torn apart in his wake. This future, you will need a bigger boat to capture a live rock. Do not seek an egg, seek a bird. She kind of leans back up. And as a Goliath, I recommend nets. Lots.
Young one do?
She thinks for a second. They said of a feather, not of an egg, so a young one would qualify. But be warned, that species does not leave the nest young.
Just kind of nod. For the moment, I must admit that this is a bit out of my depth, but I will heed your advice.
She gives you a little bit of a nod and just, that is wise. And know that there is chance of success. You do not condemn you or yours to death by what you've done so far, or what you may do. But they may not survive despite what you do.
Thank you.
You are welcome. She slowly leans back. Well, this has been a lot of foretelling. I am a little bit tired and need some tea. Voice is going out. Gets all raggedy when it goes out. And she turns to the two birds. You two, get the tea leaves. Turns back to the group and just gives a nod and just, I don't go to parties. My protections are here. And she plops her hand down, puts that eye back in her head, and then puts the other two implements away. But you are in for a fun and dangerous night.
Great.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you for everything.
Many thanks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave, like, immediately. Just,
Yeah.
I don't want to intrude any longer. She has given us a lot to work with.
Thank you.
I gesture to Lolly to pick up the sword.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Dagger.
the dagger is still there.
Dagger,
Yes.
rather.
Yeah, it is
I
a.
forgot.
Just qualify it as a masterwork dagger, but it's basically a ceremonial offering to Meek.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Make sure on head the dagger.
Yeah.
do we have?
Pavu is currently standing outside.
Hey, Pavu.
And again, like a stone, right up until you kind of give that long look at him, and then he kind of starts to move after that. All done.
Yeah. It was
For
nice
now.
meeting your mom.
She is a smart woman.
She is.
She is a wise woman.
Thank you for your courtesy.
No, thank you.
Farewell for now.
We have much left to do.
Pleasant journey and good luck.
Thank you.
And as Lestrin starts to go, he goes, remember, you can throw great swords. They make excellent ranged weapons.
Yeah.
Greatness shall come from the sky
Mhm.
onto your head.
Do we have time to swing by and see if Latham's fortune didn't mention, somebody that he needs to help in the religious affiliate? And we do know of a thing that he has to do here.
Yep, I would appreciate that if time allows.
I'm sorry, what was that one more time?
If time allows, we need to stop by to the Westward.
Sounds like anything to me.
Do you want to eat the hosts? Because that's what Brit always says every freaking time. Yes, there is plenty of time still. It's about 4 bells right now.
Cool.
Again, you guys were in there for a good long time, but after you exit, you see that like some of the people kind of around the swamp are kind of eyeing you, looking at you, and giving a little bit of a nod, like, if Pavi and Pavu think you're good people, then you're okay here.
Nice.
Yay.
Those are like good peeps. I do saunter on up. As I catch up because Garret left pretty quickly, but and later. So she was talking to you. You asked a lot of interesting questions. She was talking to you in particular. Anything that we should know for tonight?
No. If we do accept, I'm going to explain in. Excuse me, allergies.
No worries. It also sounds kind of robot-y.
Bad internet plus allergies. Woohoo.
Ah. Even your internet has allergies.
Yes. It's because of all the rain. There's like a crap ton of pollen in the air, and it's just making my eyes itch and my throat scratchy. I explained in brief what she told me about the rock hunt and how it could kind of possibly bring Grimsby down, but in doing so, it would also tear the town in half. Just
Town's going to be torn in half no matter what, because Grimsby and the local area, they will fight. They will fight. How big of a boat do we think we might need? He looks over at Jyotis.
Well, a rock. From what I've read, a rock is roughly the size.
You can go ahead and roll a nature check on what you've read.
Roll nature check.
Oh, I totally want to roll a nature check.
You may as well then.
Welcome back, Sam.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Oh, were
Can
you
I-
trying to talk
can
to
I
me?
also-
I was
Yeah.
out. That's an 18.
Jyotis rolled a 19 on the nature check.
What was that, Sam?
I rolled an 18.
Oh, okay.
I would also like to roll a nature check just because it's got to go on my boat.
Sure.
+2. What are we rolling nature for?
How big a rock is.
Dirty 20.
Oh, rocks come in all kinds of different sizes. There's one right
So,
now.
Lesterin, you've actually seen some rock bones because when you were sent on one particularly awful snallygaster hunt, some snallygasters had eaten a rock by teaming up on it. They are huge when they are full adult size. Jyotis, you've seen rock feathers used as occasional guidance counterweights on large-scale ballistas made by elves that function more like bows as opposed to the normal crossbow.
Yeah.
And they sail between triple to quadruple the distance.
Yeah.
Every part of that bird is extremely valuable. And Gary, you know tales that rocks are an albatross. They are a bird that fly over the verdant inferno in the areas of Takandro to the south of Gilderstrand. And they fly over isles that are uncharted and unexplored. And if you fight one, even if you defeat it, you are not supposed to kill it, lest you get bad luck on a ship for the rest of your life.
Noted. And that's about the point. I'm going to convey what the tales that I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to point out that I was told that an egg will not do. We need a hatched bird.
I feel
Like
bad
a
about
hatched
giving him a kid.
I feel bad about even completing this mission, but
Yeah.
Are we doing
Ring-
this?
Well, we don't have to.
I
We can
don't
talk
know
our way
if
out
we
of
can
it
get
once.
out of
Once we can do some crazy shenanigans later on tonight.
We'll try.
I like crazy
But
shenanigans.
Should we actually have to carry this through with the other knowledge that Lester and Garret have filled me in with, and with my own knowledge, I'm going to tell Latham that we probably, to actually get this thing on the boat, it's maybe at the size of the boat, so we would definitely need a bigger boat. However, we have that chugger's collar.
We do, but I just want to know how big of a boat, and rather how expensive an adequately sized boat would be.
Oh,
if
God.
I'm
From what Jyotis rolled, he would have known that the Yenfir Seeker boat that it appeared to have outfitted already was actually in excellent condition for potentially catching one. The main keys to it is having a place to put the damn thing once you do, and using a special ballista that launches a net is very helpful. Like, netting is one of the main things, and storage is the other. And can you keep it pacified is the third. Like, these are kind of the things that exist in the back of the mind as the relevant questions. And it would be... Boating costs vary wildly because of how good the quality of wood is in the Summer Sun Isles. Manufacturing of ships out here is relatively cheaper. You could easily contract a boat capable of this hunt for about 1,000 gold, and then weaponize it for about another 500 to 600 gold would get you the weapons you need. The other part is, though, you will have daily crew costs, and on top of that, maintaining a crew's morale is important on a ship. On your guys' boat, you know how it feels when you are halfway beaten after a dragon turtle assaults you, or how after a sunfish takes a bite out of your ship and then bites the other ship
in half.
You have to keep a crew happy and operational through dangers like that on the open ocean. So that takes some degree of training or luck.
all right. This is sounding less desirable. Cool. So I guess shall we have a hell of a party, get kicked out, and have a bit of fun, get kicked out, and
I
just
don't know
not do
about
that contract?
kicked out. I don't know about kicked out. And as to not doing the contract, don't know if we can get out of it, but we should try.
And I think we can try to find some way of
At the very least,
skirting that one.
So by about 5 bells, you guys reach Westward. And this is while having this conversation amongst yourselves and kind of just, like, hey. And the first thing to immediately notice about Westward is that it is built like a fortress because this is a protected part of the town. There are buildings outside the fort walls, but the interior is a fortress, tried and true. And sure enough, there is a gate with a formal portcullis from the approach that you guys are coming from. And there are multiple Summer Sun Corsairs stationed there. There's 2 up on the roof with crossbows, as well as about 4 guards in front of the portcullis with it being closed. As you approach, they come to attention very quickly. And the gates here are approximately 20 feet high and about 10 feet deep. Like, this is an impressive establishment that has been built here.
Jyotis admires it.
Yeah, the gates are wrought iron. They look relatively well maintained and polished despite storms and everything else.
Ooh, no rust?
No rust. The first of the ones who came to attention gives a call out to you and just, "Oi, state your business."
I'm walking forward, Adventure, yes, that. And, with this suit on, says, "Oh, we're here on legal matters. There's an acolyte of sort that we need to speak to. Can we need to talk with your legal department?"
He gives this slow turn of his head to his compatriots and just, "Did any of you get that?" The rest of them just kind of shrug. And he looks up towards the 2 crossbowmen and just, "Do we have a legal department?" They shrug.
It's okay. Your manager may know. We can talk with him. It's easier. We just have some paperwork we got to sign. That's all.
"I will get the sergeant." And with that, he kind of turns, walks into the gate, gives a call, and within a moment, there is a rather portly man, bald, looks like he's in his mid-40s, wearing basically hide armors. Comes on out, gives you a stare through the portcullis, and just, "Why are you torturing my men before sundown? What is the point of this?"
I have no no intention to torture them. I'm merely here to talk with and represent someone whom you may be imprisoning, unfortunately, under incorrectly. It's an acolyte of the Vault of the Kai.
He kind of lifts his eyebrow and just, Ah.
I'm here to speak and to represent her. May I see her?
Gives this slow breath through his nose and just, "The port's visiting hours. Yeah, no, by the laws, she should have representation. Open!" And you hear the and it comes up 6 feet. And you can tell that he had this internal struggle with, like, y'all show up looking shady as hell, and it's sundown almost. Like, because the sun goes down shortly after 6 here, so it's that, like, do I trust these guys?
And it's Trinisbed.
Right.
Yeah.
As he waves you forward
before they go off.
Right.
They're all hungry. They want to go to leave and get food.
He waves you forward, and he just, "Let me be frank. At 7 bells, we drop the wooden doors behind the portcullis in Westward. They will not open.
Okay.
Westward is not like Trinisbad. There will be no murder and no thievery here. or you will be thrown in prison as well.
Fair.
Okay. Fair.
Understood. You're saying that there's murder and thieving being done in the rest of, over on the Free Dock side? Is that what you're implying?
Does the sun set in the west?
Understood. You seem to run a very, very tight establishment here. I would love to know your opinions about some of your neighbors, but first and foremost, we have some paperwork to do.
Gives you a point and just the building on the due north. And you can see that this is kind of like compassly laid out with a northwest, east, and south. Building on the due north. Prison is it's a dungeon dugout down there. If you enter, just tell them who you're here to see. They'll let you in. But they're probably not going to... Well, I can't tell you any more than that. He just gives a sigh and just go about your business and don't raise a ruckus. Welcome to Westward.
Much.
And sure enough, there is a very, very different feel in this area of town. Risha's own Fort Widowstorm had... I almost had a slip there. That area was a bit more intense, with the Corsairs doing training and it being militarized. This makes that look like a vacation spot. Because here, the only movement you see are squads of troops transporting goods. Anything that is moved is escorted, even if it's just a cart. There's at least 4 people escorting it, and you can tell that on each roof of these buildings are individuals with longbows, and based off of some of your passive perceptions, you can even see that they have their eyes marked with liner so that the sun doesn't reflect in them, so that they can get better shots at you should you mess around.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a rather oppressive and brutalist feel to this part of town, but it is immaculate and well maintained. And as you approach the first building in the north, there are multiple sets of guards in front of each door to it. And it's constructed to have basically a door on each side. You can very much tell that this is their armory and dungeon. And once again, you kind of have to repeat your business, and they give you pointers on like first floor, down the stairs, take the first right, ask to speak to the warden.
The warden, thank you much.
Sure enough,
To the warden!
After being shown in, when you enter the building, there's almost an immediate feeling of cold in this area. The stone is so thickly constructed that it doesn't let the sunlight absorb in enough to heat the interior. And so the winds and such that kind of channel down into this part of the city wind up giving just that little bit of frigidness in the air. You go down a set of stone stairs that are about 10 feet wide, and after taking the first right, there is what appears to be a simple human individual, because it's difficult to tell anything other than that about them, since they are wearing a helm and half-plate armor while seated at their desk and playing solitaire on a set of cards. They just kind of look up at you and just, yes?
Yes, we're here to see... Yes, sorry. This is my associate, Lolly.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
At any rate, there's an acolyte, the Vault of the Kai, the very same who I think helped many of you in your own passages. You have here in confinement. I'd like to speak with her. There's a letter that was, I think, already
I just wanted to clear up some matters, if at all possible. I'm here to represent her. And hopefully clear up some misunderstanding, because I don't think you want to be dealing with yet another prisoner. So, hopefully we can clear this up rather quickly.
Slow breath through the helmet and just... 4 cells down. Left side. Don't rally.
Walks confidently on. He is in full stride, just being as confident as he pleases. Because
oh man, Sam's passed out hard.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
No, you're fine.
wow. I'm sorry,
Western is
man.
unimpressed by half-plate armor. That's
Apparently.
all right. So Latham, you get down to the cell, and sure enough, there is a young halfling woman who is currently writing by candlelight. She has that very, very tan skin, like many of the halflings have. Dirty blonde hair, where it's like mostly brown, but has the like flecks of gold that come from sunlight exposure. And she's using candlelight to write basically what looks like several pages. And she's got a simple stool, a hay bed on the floor, and not much else in this cell. And when she looks...
I'm sorry. Please.
Oh, go ahead.
Just before Latham starts being Latham, I'm going to gently put my hand on his shoulder and say, allow me to do introductions.
Well, Tom gestures. So, after you.
Yeah, kindly please finish what you were saying. But Bob.
I haven't said anything. No.
Sorry.
We just got there. Bob, yeah. Sorry.
She does recognize that there's people outside of her cell and just... Here we go again. No, I am not writing to the Malachite Coil. I am, however, writing to the Akami Kai back home in Okoa. She slowly turns and just, oh, you are not Corsairs. Kind of raises up, and you can get this little gleam in her, and she has very blue eyes. She approaches.
I'm going to make the proper gestures and bows and say in Halfling, the common greeting is wind and waves to you, sister. We come on behalf of Kimi in hopes to provide you with the legal necessities to extricate you from these bonds.
You see her face go through a variety of emotions, because when you start off with that, she's, oh, another human who speaks halfling, great. And you can tell that this is clearly, having been in prison, she's in rags. It's not that she's unkept, but she's definitely not at her best, and she's just kind of got that presumption of another human who's proud that he knows a halfling line. And then when you get to the point of representation from Kimmy, then you catch her interest, and she gives you kind of a much more focused look, and just, Kimmy sent you. Wow. I am happy my letter reached her. I thought no one was coming. Forgive my prudishness.
Your reaction is very understandable, considering the conditions that you have found yourself in.
You would think a building this thick would be waterproof, but I have been here for 2 storms now.
You would think shipbuilders would do better with wooden buildings, yes?
They don't care about prisoners so much sometimes. Something that should be rectified.
And I'm going to switch back to common very very smoothly and say, the others are not fluent in the sea tongue. it is probably best that we communicate openly with everyone.
And then we shall. So, she approaches another step closer. She's now about 3 feet away from you through the iron bars. You've come to represent me?
I give my best smile and gesture to Latham. Latham is our legal representative for the guild for which we have begun. He knows very well how to speak to people in positions of authority and find legal opportunities.
Well, that sounds nice.
It's very useful.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I will step away and say, if you have any questions that he cannot answer, please. But he will be your representative in this, and hopefully between the two of you, you can find a way to
Live. I would like to live.
Yes.
Uh,
We would very much like you to live as well.
Who would like you to live?
She gives a nod and just, well, first off, if you are my representative, does that mean that we have a system of full trust?
I've been retained by Kimmy, so yes. It is my job. I hand her my card.
She
Like a
takes
good
the card.
lawyer, with a good blood seal, Thumb will be there.
Oh, God. I need a shirt for that now.
That's got to raise an eyebrow on her, at least. Why would
She's
Kim
gonna
get
take-
this guy?
She slowly takes the card, looks at it for a moment, and just... You have a lot of very small, not applicable... wow, there's terms and conditions on your... Okay. And looks back
No,
up at you.
the terms and conditions only show up once you've actually applied blood. Because, then you signed it.
So she sent the devil to do good work. That is so very Kimmy. All right.
Rather fond of Kimmy, rather my crew and I have become rather fond of her, and she's done well by us in our various misadventures. At any rate,
She's like an older sister to me, so I do appreciate that you have an appreciation of her. Look, since you're representing me, and she drops her voice down very low, I did try to work with the Coil because I was trying to find out information on how they keep recruiting people from the Free Docks part of town to come and join their little cult. I was trying to figure out how to stop them, but I figured that by doing it with open arms and open mind, I could learn something. Shaw found out and accused me of manipulating the Vault of the Kai and imprisoned. I was getting desperate. I first wrote Kimmy, but I was going to write home and recommend that we, She kind of makes a tutting sound and just... Halflings and humans have a tenuous peace. This is, at best, a diplomatic faux pas. You understand, right?
No.
I think I have some sense of the matter.
Thank the
So-
oceans.
Did Kimmy know about this undercover work that you were doing?
No, of course not.
Why didn't you share it with her?
Because Kimmy is busy enough. Being the Kai of Trinisbad means you have to be underhanded. If you weren't, no one would pay tribute. Even the Summersome Corsairs would find some way to dodge it here.
Okay. Good.
So, whereas I did try to make good connections with the guild and reach out. Well, they're not a guild, they're a cult. But I did reach out to the Malachite Coil and make connections with them. And I did bring food and money to the Free Dogs to help some of the poor there as a positive outreach program. I am not in league with them. The thing they worship cannot be good by what they do.
Is this a particular effort that you wish to continue after your release?
Yes, because if I stop, they will think that I was just looking out for myself and that now I'm playing safe. It is more important to actually make a difference than it is to be safe.
I have an idea, but it may mean this. You may need to... You may need to share some of your findings about the activities of the Coil with the Summer Sun Corsairs. Would you be willing to at least share some of that information?
She gives a roll of her eyes, and I tried to tell Shaw what they were up to. I really did.
Did he not listen, or did he never get wind of it because of some intermediary?
He did not listen. He simply believes that I have been corrupted, and therefore cannot evenly represent the interests of the Akami Kai and protect this city anymore. He has claimed to have written the Halfling Nation requesting a new Kai be sent here. But I very much doubt he explained that he imprisoned the previous one.
Okay. So, with that, Latham pulls out from his pile of papers and pens up a document that is... I'm sorry, Kimmy, but that is a forged document that reads that Kimmy had assigned this particular... What was the acolyte's name? Not down. What was her name?
Notes.
Notes, notes, notes.
Let's go. Malana Pola.
Okay. Explaining that the Vault of the Kai knew of or gave permission for the undercover work in order to undermine the Coil.
All right. Go ahead and roll a forger's check. So this is going to be... Oh, let's go with...
I think I have some that actually does align on that.
Yeah, no.
Abilities.
Because honestly, this is more about intelligence than dexterity in this case, because you're creating an official sounding document, and your penmanship is already quite good at being a lawyer. So I'm going to say roll intelligence plus proficiency modifier for a forger's kit in your case.
Uh, 18 plus which modifier?
Intelligence and your proficiency bonus. So your proficiency bonus should be a +3, and then plus your intelligence.
21. Main stats. 21 plus 4, so 25.
Jesus. Yeah, no, this
I was 19.
This is one of those CIA manifestos that is like the unredacted copy that is horrifyingly intricately detailed on exactly what the operation was. And this is also one of those documents that you show someone when you go like, this person needs to be out now because if this gets out, this hurts everyone. I'm going to show this to you. You're going to read it and you're going to burn it. You understand? That's the level of intricacy you have placed in this. Like, the things that you have hinted at involve the fact that Shaw could accidentally start a new war between the human and halfling nations, and that the Akami Kai could essentially doom the cities of humanity just by withdrawing their ocean speakers from every port that they had them in, and let the Dragon Turtle of Hanir do what it's going to do. So, like, this document is in effort the...
Maybe I was good for something.
It is gorgeous in the most, like, Bay of Pigs type way that you have created an explanation of, like, do not do this. Like, this is a bad idea because of XXXXXXXX. And so it takes you a little bit of time. It takes you about 30 minutes. You do it by the candlelight that she holds.
Yeah, decision.
After you write it out, she kind of leans over, makes a couple little recommendations for you, but otherwise just lets you go. And at the end of it, she just kind of stares at you and just, that should even encourage Shaw to be less of himself.
Let's not get hopes up just yet. People often can be require a little extra persuasion.
My formal trial is scheduled to have its arraignment tomorrow at high noon. If you wouldn't mind attending, and possibly we could present that to him in close quarters.
Ideally, I'd like to avoid the trial altogether because, as you can see, this is a secret operation. We cannot have this out in broad daylight. Raven, knowing eyebrow.
She gives you the same eyebrow back and just, I like you. Where did Kimmy dig you up? All right. You proceed as you will.
Do you know by chance where this Shaw fellow would be around these quarters this time of day? No worries, you do not. You've been somewhat confined.
Yeah, sorry. He hasn't even been to see me after arresting me.
Okay. With that, let's go find Monsieur Shaw.
Yeah, she gives you a little wave of her hand and just, well, hopefully we meet under better circumstance next time. And thank you.
Alright, Latham wanders on back down towards the guards and briefly says, you may want to, one, I need to speak with Command, was it Captain? Not Captain, Admiral?
The warden in the helmet looks up at you and just, Vice Admiral Shaw is third level of this building.
You may wish to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you may wish to locate your keys. She'll be leaving here shortly. At any rate, thank you much.
Warden just gives a slight nod. Just, her arraignment is scheduled tomorrow at 12 high noon. Will you be in attendance?
I don't think that will be necessary. I will save you, her, and many others the trouble. Enjoy your meals, but...
If there's just the littlest head tilt in the helm, and you get the hint that this person is raising their eyebrows as high as they can go behind that, and just goes back to playing solitaire and shakes their head quickly and just, lawyers. So after that, I do require one persuasion check to persuade the guards to let you up to Shaw's office on the third floor.
It's a 16 on the die.
Mm-hmm.
26 total.
Yeah. No. Again, you know, a couple of them bring halberds out as you start towards the stairs in the center of the building, and then once you have that official, you know, like lawyer coming through, dealing with negotiations between two nations, they pull their halberds apart, and then they kind of look at the rest of the group, but with that high of a check, they just let everyone who wants to go up go up.
They're with me.
Yeah. Unlike Nalthus's office, this third floor is more articulated towards shipping and tracking activity between the aisles. Like, you see that the floor is actually a giant painted map of Ayamasunge and all its known regions and territories, with numerous ships that are the size of basically about a foot long and about 2 feet tall, laid out on the floor with colorations and markings. That way they can be tracked on where they're at, where they're going. For example, you see that the Spitfire is located heading due north of Summersole, marked in pursuit of the Pearlescent Viper.
I Jyotis briefly, and then look over that map briefly. Have a look, or just nope.
And
I would like to assist in that investigation check if it comes up.
Yeah, sure. Jyotis, go ahead and roll and post it in the chat. You may roll with advantage as Garret is assisting.
Would it be investigation or?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. There is a man seated. There is a man seated behind a desk over in the corner. Again, there's no secretaries or anything up here, but he is currently just going through piles of books and following on shipping manifests. And you can see that he's got... Let me get the details on him. So this gentleman is very, very tan, bald, and appears to be in his mid-50s. Has those standard sailor's crow markings in his eyes from squinting to the sunlight. He is missing a right arm and appears to be not moving his body beneath his chest very much, outside of moving his left hand, and he writes quite efficiently with the left. But only after a few minutes does his, rather hookish nose look up towards you and just, yes. Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Lolly.
Afternoon. I don't wish to take much of your time, but there's something of important matter that we wish to discuss concerning that acolyte you have downstairs.
If you made it by my gods, it is probably either important or you're here to kill me and pitch them well. He leans back. So, tell me.
I do not doubt that your gods would serve you well. At any rate, the coil, they're not friends of yours, are they?
The Malachite coil are the latest blister upon this hellhole.
Well, I know that... Sorry, go ahead.
He looks out towards what should be a window, but it's clearly been kind of plastered over, and you can now tell that there's actually a part of the wall that has been legitimately reworked with stone to hide what once had been a window. I got tired of looking at their lighthouse. That's an abomination. So, what about them?
It's to say that they may not be friends of the acolyte as well, although you seem to assume otherwise.
She was caught giving them the approximate value of 2,500 gold from the vault of the Kai. Kind of twirls his quill in his left hand for a couple of times and just 2,500 gold could have solved the hunger crisis in all of Trinispad. 2,500 gold could buy. And he kind of looks at across the map in the room and just, you see that ship, the Spitfire? I could pay that crew for the better part of a year, and for the munitions cost. With 2,500 gold, I could have that ship upgraded to where it could take down any galleon. So tell me, where and why was 2,500 gold given to the worst possible people to inherit more money?
2,500 gold? That's quite a bit. Oh, there's a bit more to the matter, though. And hands over the note.
He starts to read through it. Yeah, no, he starts to read through it and reads through it in earnest, and he holds a lantern closer to it. I was afraid of this. This complicates things. Looks back up at you. I don't want to presume, but you are her representation.
I am the representation of both her and of the Vault of the Kai. As you can tell, these matters are rather sensitive. I know the arrangement is tomorrow, but given the nature of the document you have in front of you, and your assumptions are that there is a bit more to the story than what is being shared even here due to its sensitivity.
And I had delayed her arraignment as long as I could. Tried to reach out to multiple of the Akamikai. I know what it looks like when a human imprisons a halfling. But
you also then know that the secret that these sort of things require less official channels. So I don't know if those means of reaching out were too sensitive or too insecure.
He finishes reading through it and just, this appears in order. Can I tell you something in confidence? And he slides the document back towards you.
Thumb picks it up, and then holding it between his fingers, lets it go up in flames.
Obviously, if with that knowledge, must release the Kai. The only reason I imprisoned her was that my gut told me it was the right thing. Before the damn viper took my body from me, my gut kept me alive on the sea for the better part of 40 years. And it's kept me alive in this hellhole for 5. Last Vice Admiral didn't make it 6 months. Your information appears genuine. I can't hold her. Be at best a new war that we can't afford to fight. But something is wrong. That's what my gut says. Nia writes down a note. Give this to the warden downstairs. She'll be released immediately, with our apologies, and we will make a donation to the Kai as tribute.
I think that would be appreciated. If I do know of any... Go ahead.
I want to lean a little bit forward and say, may I have a piece of that paper?
He reaches his left hand out and hands it towards you.
With my left hand to kind of mask. It'd be legible, but hideous.
Right.
I'm going to write down Grimsby and the Vipers are rallying.
He looks at that and just... yeah, counted on that. Of course they are.
And I'm going to write party tonight to consolidate.
He chuckles at that and just... Oh, one of those. Don't worry, they'll tear each other apart. The best part...
Hand
Grimsby.
that same note over to Latham. Actually, no, I have my own firebolt and just kind of cradle
Light it
in my
up.
hand and
Yeah, no, he kind of chuckles for a second and just... The best part of Grimsby, depending on running his town like a pit of vipers, is that it's a pit of vipers. You don't get out without getting bit. They'll tear each other to pieces before they're ready to move on us. And even if they are ready to move on us, I've been training these men for 5 years to fight that fight. I know I don't look it, but trust me, they are ready. Thank you for the forewarning, though, young.
just remember, I did not say a word.
You... what? No, I my old age must have me thinking things. Suspicious things.
I did not say a word.
Gives the, yes, that's why nothing happened. Looks back at Latham and just...
Latham's rocking back and forth on his, toes and heels, too quite done yet.
Yes. Also, if they're closing the portcullis, he hands you a little letter opener that is made of pewter. Just show them this. That'll show you that you had my permission to exit despite the portcullis being closed in case you ran late. It won't get you into the town after we close at night because Trinisbat is dangerous, but it'll get you out if you are insane.
It's a big and scary world, but there's lots of opportunities out there. At any rate, you seem a genuine fellow, and I hope we may yet speak again.
Well, hopefully under happier circumstances.
Agreed.
Oh, would that I could. I would rise, give you a bow, but if you're willing to risk it, I can shake a left hand. And he holds out a left hand to you.
Latham shakes it.
It's a very firm grip, someone who's tied a lot of knots and...
A sailor's grip.
Right, and you've dealt with command crew from ships that have never done a hard day's work in their life, but got this assignment based off of mommy and daddy.
No,
But this person was a worker.
Elvis.
Yeah, exactly. Shaw just gives you a nod and just, well, take it that you see yourselves out. I have plenty of work to do. And a few prayers to give. He kind of looks back at the Spitfire. Get it, damn it. And
looks
yes,
around the
Jyotis.
looks around the room. And anything else to note?
No, again,
First,
this is...
looks around the room at companions. Anyone else have anything to say?
No.
Nope.
Oh, nothing here.
All right.
Don't mind me.
Pivots on heel and goes strolling on out.
Yeah, and sure enough, you competently get to walk back to that warden in the helmet, hand him the note, and again, if eyebrows could be seen under that helm, they would be very raised because the head tilts a little bit. Gentleman slowly gathers up all the cards, claps them back into a box, rises, walks down the hall, not saying a word, reaches Milana's cell and opens it with the turn of a key. And she, her eyes go wide, as big as Lolly's eyes go when she sees 5 pounds of candy, wide. And the door opens, and the only thing he says is, "You are free to go." She just nervously steps forward and just, "My things?" Sent back to the Temple of the Kai. Great. Gives Latham a look and just, "Now I have to go back dressed like this." And she points at the rags. Well,
would you rather
Just a
not go
moment.
back at all?
Gary's going to pull his backpack forward and reach inside and just grab the tunic of the uniform and offer until we get to the temple.
Wait, I
Thank
have
you.
a spare outfit for you. And I hand her the clown outfit.
Oh no.
she takes the cloak that Gary gives her, looks at the clown outfit, and just, "That's horrifying. No, thank you. Never. Ever. If I were
That's
still
what
in the
I
cell,
offer.
if I was still in the cell, that would be cruel and unusual punishment."
Oh,
And the ward in the background
Wow.
gives a nod.
I give her the belt.
Busted you out and already being snarky.
You can make it into kind of a dress, at least until you can get into your proper clothes.
I will have you know, sir, I was plenty snarky inside that cell as well.
This is true.
Warden nods again.
Definitely. Yeah, I haven't met her, so I can't say. Definitely Kimmy's cousin.
And sure enough, she just kind of starts walking out like she owns the damn place. But she does very graciously nod to Gary and have the, "You are the kindest human I have ever met, and you are a good man. I appreciate it. I hope the oceans always give you a pleasant journey." She kind of
As well as
pauses and just,
friends.
"I just realized it's like," when she reaches the exit of the building, she's like, "Oh, it's getting dark out. Would you lot mind escorting me to the Vault of the Kai?"
Not at all.
Very good.
Can do.
And I lean forward and kind of conspiratorially say, I actually need that jacket back before I leave.
She kind of looks back up at you and just, "Well, does smell a little like human, and I have smelled way too much human lately. So, no offense."
Fair
She
enough.
has that half-second realization that her snark might be a bit much, and she pulls it back just a little bit because there's friendly banter and then there's snarky, and she has that moment of did I cross the line? I'm sorry. Sure enough, you guys reach the portcullis again. The guards kind of all again stare at you, look at her, and then at least 2 of the 5 people there walk up to Latham and just, do you represent people all the time?"
A little bit of a smirk and just hands very quickly out 2 cards.
Yeah, no, they take it and just,
Well,
"Thanks."
it was 1 card, between 2 fingers kind of split and it becomes 2 cards.
Let me tell you a fortune.
We've been practicing that one for a bit because
Yeah, no. Each of them taken just good to know, because
I
you
mean,
know.
this is the same Latham who handed out those same cards to like little like demon or like cursed goblin children. So
Right.
you know,
Well, and again, from their perspective, and you would understand this having now worked some of the law of Alara Samal, these cities of human folk tend to be pretty lawful aside from the rest of Trinisbad. So they do operate within the means, and normally no one gets out that quickly after a lawyer appears. So that's pretty excellent as your track record. And sure enough, as you guys march her up to the Temple of the Kai, this Temple of the Kai has no Summer Sun Corsairs guarding it, and in fact there is signs in common telling the Summer Sun Corsairs in no uncertain terms not to approach within 50 feet. And several of the halfling guards dressed are wearing traditional warrior makeup, where they have black and red lines drawn over their faces along with white masks, war paint in essence, and have been standing with spears and boomerangs, and even some had crossbows at the ready. There was about 10 to 12 of them that you see in basically full war uniform. And as Milana approaches, all of them give little shouts of joy of like, yes, yes! And in halfling, there's just, Milana, welcome! Welcome home. And she winds up giving this group of ragtag adventurers another nod and just, thank you for everything. She takes the cloak off and hands it back to Garret. And just, I am back with my people. We will attempt to keep the peace with the Summer Sun Corsairs. Don't think Shaw is done, but this will help set things right.
And a nod. It's like, be careful dealing with those cultists.
She
It
gives
the
another
wrong
nod.
impression. It gives a bad impression, and they are incredibly dangerous.
She
Dealt
gives a
with them
nod
before.
and just, you are not kidding about their danger. They are more capable by the day. I will not be leaving the temple for the foreseeable future in case Shaw decides that my legal representation was null and void in any way, shape, or form. She gives Latham a nod of just, I think this form of house arrest agrees with me more.
at any rate, you may wish to in the future try to find ways to improve that alliance with Shah. He seems to be a bit of a stickler about many things. I know he's human, and yes, that can be a bit of a troublesome point. But if you're
She
really
kinda
trying
looks
to do,
between you and Garret and like, really, right in front of the human? Like,
I kind of-
that's
like, he knows about my family.
He's also the only human here.
I can tell.
at any rate, that may help prevent such things in the future, and may help you further your own ends. Just a bit of advice.
Advice taken. Now,
At any rate, do
Don't mind.
let Kimmy know about your status. I'm sure she would be delighted to hear of you.
I will commute immediately. Orders upon getting back. The temple likely needs some. With that, she looks at herself and, but I'm changing out of these rags first. And she looks at her guards and just, come along, it's almost nighttime. I don't want you standing out here and provoking other people. A lot of you stay safe on your journeys and travels, and should you need help, please come here. You are welcome.
If you should
Thanks.
need us, my name is Garret Vale. This is Latham, Jyotis, Lolly, and Lestrin. And I'll go ahead and we are the Silverstorm Seekers. Silver
Give-
Storm Holdings Incorporated.
LLC.
We'll see.
That's the
I need to get like guild business cards printed up as well.
She genuinely laughs at that and just has this like, well, gotta start somewhere, and rescuing a halfling priestess is a good guild notch, I guess.
We
Let
have
me
notched
know.
our belt.
We'll take it.
Yes. That, and we've just built a bit of a friendship with Kimi, and she asked us to help you. We were happy to do so.
Well, she sent the right people. And do come by before you leave. I'll arrange a traveling care package for you as a thank you.
You have our thanks.
She
Yeah,
gives a
we
deep
have
bow.
One
And
more thing to do tonight.
then come here. And she kind of waves towards Gary and Latham. I cannot do much for you. Most of my implements were taken from me, but I can give a little bit of this. She reaches up and touches each of your foreheads if you lean down to meet her, and grants you a longer lasting form of guidance. One time tonight, you may roll a d4 and add it to any roll before it's resolved. And that is for everyone, but it was given to Gary and Latham first.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it is almost 11:30, so I'm thinking this is probably a good spot to cut off. In 2 weeks, we're going to a party.
Sorry we didn't make it to the party, Bob.
Sorry.
No, it's not your guys' fault. It's mine. Man, my pacing control is super off tonight. But
and it's an RP heavy segment too, and there's like a lot of like little things resolved because we've got
a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
How many quests did we turn in over with the hag or with the prettiest hag? That was like 4 different quest lines
such
involved.
a lore dump. Yeah.
I'm like so much notes, and now we have tarot card readings.
It wasn't just a lore dump on the quests, it was a lore dump on all of our characters.
Right?
Oh no, and I missed the whole thing.
I did one for you actually, Sam. It'll be on the recording.
Oh, thank you so much.